Welcome, everybody, to a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video today, and this week sees everyone's favorite video game, Hedgehog, back to battle Robotnik once again in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Hitting store shelves along with the dramatic horror experience Men. David Body Horror Cronenberg is back to put his stamp on the genre yet again in Crimes of the Future, and a little 4K love this week with Michael Mann's 1995 action thriller classic, Heat. Plus much more. So let's go see the deals, exclusives, and we are at our first location, Walmart. So let's go in and see what they got. All right, everybody, we are in at good old Walmart, and look, holy shit, there's actually physical media goodness worth checking out. I know, I'm shocked too. I really am. I thought they were going to cheap out on us this week, but thankfully they decided to embrace the physical media love, and damn glad for it. Let's dive in, shall we, with a little bit of, I know you couldn't wait, and me neither, for Sonic 2, the Hedgehog, baby, yes. Oh, man. More Sonic love? Don't mind if I do, baby. The DVD for $17.96, the Blu-ray digital for $22.96, the 4K love for $27.96, and an interesting Walmart exclusive Blu-ray digital for $22.96 here. And look, this is interesting actually. It includes a limited edition comic book. I like this cover. I mean, the rest of them are very standard. They're the same covers. I like the cover, don't get me wrong. Very reminiscent of the first cover that they did for the first Sonic film, so it definitely matches. But this is cool, man. I mean, Sonic and Knuckles head to head. Yes, I like that, man. That is pretty goddamn cool, man. For an exclusive for that artwork, that is pretty sweet. And with the limited edition comic book, that ain't half bad for $22.96, man. That is pretty sweet indeed. But is the movie just as sweet as the cover? I'd like to think it is. Oh, I do indeed, because I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and I wish I would have seen it in theaters, but it did pass me by, unfortunately. But I was really anticipating watching this movie because I really love that first Sonic movie. That movie really surprised the hell out of me, and I think, honestly, truth be told, it surprised a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people went into that movie like white knuckles, like, oh my god, man, how is this movie really gonna be? I mean, seriously. And it surpassed everybody's expectations in the biggest, baddest way. The design of Sonic was really great. They liked the story and the comedy and the CGI, and I think people really dug it. The action adventure aspect to it, it really delivered in a big, bad way, especially for Sonic fans out there. And me included. Even though I'm a casual Sonic fan, I still really love the character, and the fact that they actually delivered a competent video game adaptation movie shocked the living shit out of me and practically everybody else. So pleasantly surprised. Made a lot of money at the box office, and I knew eventually they were going to do a Sonic 2, and here we are finally, man. Now basically Sonic is living his best life on Earth with his, of course, human counterparts, and he's trying to basically do something for Earth, for the world, be almost like a superhero like. And, you know, they're trying to tell him, well, look, man, your time will come eventually. When it does, embrace it, but for the time being, just be yourself, will ya? Sonic being himself? Okay, whatever you say. And basically, while all that is going on, Robotnik, yes, we thought we had gotten rid of Robotnik in the first movie, right? We banished him to that mushroom planet. He ain't never getting out of there. Dude, never, and I mean never, underestimate Robotnik, motherfucker. Never do it, because he's just too damn good. He will always find a way. He truly will, man. And this time he did indeed, yet again. He escapes. Not only does he escape, but he finds a comrade in Knuckles, who has a vendetta against Sonic, and they are going after him, finally trying to rid the world of Sonic the Hedgehog, and at the same time find this crystal, this emerald that will give them limitless power. Can Sonic stop Robotnik's evil, diabolical plan and save the day? Or will he need a little help from a friendly entity? Tails, anybody? Oh, all the adventure, the action, the mayhem, and the hijinks are all on display in Sonic 2, baby. And I really dug this movie. It's the same amount of fun and adventure that you got from the first film, just amped up to 11 for the sequel. And you've got to appreciate that. If you love the first Sonic movie, this is just more of everything you got with that first film. And you get to have a hell of a lot more of callbacks to previous video games, and a lot more of the characters that you know and love, and more of Sonic's powers, and more crazy Robotnik, Jim Carrey nuttiness. I mean, you get everything, and the kitchen sink here. I mean, this thing is stuffed, packed with so much in it that in some ways, maybe that was a little bit of the negativity that I can kind of say for this film. This movie's 2 hours, man, and it really didn't need to be 2 hours long. You could have cut, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 minutes from the film, and I don't think you would have cut any losses from this film whatsoever. I think it would have still been just as good. It just feels so jam-packed, full of so much Sonic goodness, that it kind of felt like maybe they didn't think that maybe they were going to get another one. Maybe they realized, okay, we might have just another go at this, and if we do, we really got to just pack this with so much shit. But also, at the end of the day, they also left the door open for a Sonic 3, especially with a post-credit scene, which is very cool. So, for me, I kind of feel like the movie is really a love letter to the fans, and a love letter to people who love Sonic. And I think a lot of the fans out there, especially the kids who really love that first film, it's just more of the crazy hijinks that you love from that first film, just so much more of it. And it almost feels kind of exhausting how much it is, man. At the end of the 2 hours, I was like, wow, man. Damn, like, I can't say that I didn't get my money's worth, because I did. But damn, man, you feel exhausted. You're like, whoo, man, I think I need a rest after this shit. And Sonic just wore me out like a motherfucker. I mean, he really did, dude. And I just feel like the movie is just an exhaustive marathon of crazy Sonic hijinks and hilarity. And sometimes you kind of wish that they would have, I don't want to say maybe held back a little bit, but maybe kind of just eased a bit off, because at points it feels like kind of an overload, and that's not exactly a bad thing, especially if you're a Sonic lover, but you do kind of feel like there's just so much in here that they could have just cut a little bit out of it and it still would have been fine. Look, at the end of the day, it's a really great film regardless. And it's really fun, and it's really adventurous, and it's just a really great fun ride. Look, at the end of the day, if you didn't like the movie, this is a justification for why you didn't like it, okay? You're like, oh my god, this thing is overstuffed to the gills, there's too much comedy, there's too many sort of like pop culture references. I mean, look, this movie isn't exactly going to win fans, okay? If you didn't like the first film, most likely you're not gonna like this. But if you love that first film, this second film is pretty much just guaranteed money of like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing, and there's more of what I wanted, and it's fucking awesome, right? I mean, anytime that you do a sequel, you gotta go bigger, you gotta go badder, you gotta go better, and Sonic 2 proves it. I mean, whether you like what they did or not, you gotta give them credit that they really went out there and really did something really just absolutely epic, and I think for the most part they pulled it off, man. I love the designs of Knuckles, I love the design of Tails, I love expanding the world of Sonic the Hedgehog and the mythology of it. I mean, you can complain about it being overstuffed. Yes, you can complain about the fact that, you know, maybe there's just too much here and maybe it's just kind of exhaustive at the end of the day, but let's be real, man. Sonic is an adventure of a movie. It just truly is. And it's an adventure of an experience as a game. And I thought that they brought that to the movies in a big bad way, and I think they do the same for Sonic 2, man. Say what you will, like it or hate it, but you gotta give Sonic a lot of credit, man, because it's really entertaining, and Sonic is just a really fun and entertaining character, and they really respect that character and respect the mythology in a big bad way with these movies. And yet again, I think they pull it off, man. They really do. Video game adaptations are not easy, and Sonic proves that it can be if you put it in the right hands. And these filmmakers definitely know how to treat Sonic with all the respect that he really, really deserves. You know, some films just don't do men any favors. And this happens to be one of them. Oh man, the Blu-ray of Men for 1996, the DVD for 1796. Oh brother, of course, man. Certain movies come along that just show how crazy and nutty men can really be. Trust me, we're not all this bad, folks. We're really not, I swear. Oh man, I was actually really looking forward to this movie. I really honestly was. I watched it on Amazon Prime. I was intrigued by the trailer, the fact that it was A24, the fact that it was Alex Garland who did Ex Machina and Annihilation, two movies that I absolutely adore, and I'm like, okay, his third film, I gotta check this out. I mean, this guy hasn't disappointed me yet, so I gotta give it a go. Basically, it's about this woman, Harper, who ends up basically going to the countryside after a tragic event happens with her husband. He ends up committing suicide, and she's trying to get away, trying to pick up the pieces of her life, and figuring this is a great place to really do it, until she realizes that something's off here with the atmosphere and the people around her, and the fact that there's really not any other women around. What's going on here? Why are the men so creepy? What is everybody hiding? And is she actually gonna get out of this thing alive? Well, I guess we'll just have to watch the movie to find out. But man, is it kind of really weird and intriguing at the same time. And I don't know entirely how I feel about this movie. I mean, one part of me kind of liked what I was seeing, and I liked the mystery of it, and I liked some of the body horror that was going on and some of the symbolism, but at other points I was really confused, and it felt like imagery was just put in there for imagery's sake, and there wasn't really much of a story, just moments to be creeped out by. And it's not like it's a bad film necessarily. I mean, the actors are really doing a great job here. They're really giving it their all. I really love what they're doing. I love some of the body horror aspects in the flick. I mean, it's got moments of brilliance here, but the story is an absolute mess. They don't explain a goddamn thing here. Some of the symbolism goes way over your head, and you really kind of get confused by, you're like, wait a minute, what is this actually supposed to mean? I know this means that, and I know the whole idea of female empowerment and the idea of birth and death and the ever-long cycle of that, and how women bring life and men can bring death, and there's a whole amount of symbolism and messaging within the film that sometimes works and sometimes gets really bogged down by imagery for the sake of having imagery, and some of it just comes off as kind of a clusterfuck and doesn't make a lick of sense, man. And I was sitting there, I'm like, what is this movie supposed to be? Is it an allegory for how evil men can be? Is it an allegory for females and the reproductiveness and the idea that they can give life? I mean, maybe it's all of it? I don't know. It just doesn't really completely gel as well as I wanted it to, man. And I felt it kind of sucked. I mean, Alex Garland has come out and said that basically there is this famous sort of religious statue that he really adores, and he always wanted to build a story around this particular imagery, and he finally was able to do it with this film. And I appreciate his commitment to that, and I think it's kind of fascinating. what he kind of does with that and the symbolism behind it, but at the same time, the story is really confusing, and how he puts the imagery in there is cool, but there's not a really great story to build around it. And that kind of sucks, man. I don't know. It has its moments, but it's not exactly the greatest thing ever of all time. And at the end of the day, I was kind of just disappointed by the movie more than anything else. I mean, Ex Machina is brilliant, and Annihilation is fantastic. And yes, I don't need everything 100% spelled out for me. I don't need it. But at the same time, it doesn't really hurt either. It actually kind of would help from time to time. Here, they don't explain anything. I mean, they leave it to your imagination. I mean, then again, they don't leave everything to your imagination, because I'm not gonna lie, the climax of this movie, and I'm dead serious, man, the climax of this film is basically some guy giving birth out of his asshole. Yeah, I'm not even joking, man. I'm not even joking. Literally, his asshole opens up and there's a, like, fully grown man that is coming out of his asshole. And I'm like, okay, you know, I haven't seen that before. It's like, all right, man. Talk about imagery that I'm like, okay, I guess that's interesting. And how I guess, like, women aren't the only ones that can give birth, I guess. But I'm not gonna lie, I don't really need something that large coming out of my asshole. I don't know about you, but I'm gonna pass on that one, guys. I don't know, like, there's moments where the characters are really intriguing, and there's moments where it's kind of mundane, and it's slow, and it's boring, and it's just prodding along, and you're just waiting for something to happen. And I know there's, like, a lot of symbolism and a lot of unique imagery that keeps you intrigued, but at a certain point, I don't know, like, the mystery only got you halfway there. I needed something a little bit more. I needed something a little bit more of an explanation, or I needed something to tie it together more. Unfortunately, there's so much really crazy stuff happening in the movie, and sometimes the characters are just sort of matter-of-fact about it. Like, I'm sorry, if I saw a guy giving birth to a fully grown human being out of its asshole, I think I'd probably scream bloody murder, okay? I'm not gonna lie, man. I would probably be like, okay, dude, like, can somebody call a fucking exorcist? I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, fuck, I thought Linda Blair spinning her head around and, you know, stabbing her pussy with the cross was bad, but yeah, this takes the cake. I mean, shit. Oh, whoa. I mean, come on, man. But sometimes the characters, like with the character of Harper, she's just kind of looking at this thing like, oh, isn't this an everyday occurrence? I'm like, I don't know what you've been seeing of late, honey, but but man, keep me out of it. But I just kind of felt that the characters at points were kind of mundane. The mystery is what keeps you intrigued with the film, but the mystery only gets you so far, and symbolism for symbolism is nice, but sometimes that doesn't make a movie. You need something more than that. You need something that keeps you intrigued. It was interesting when you kind of notice certain things in the film, like the fact that all the men are played by the same actor, and that no one is really calling them out on this. And I'm like, she does notice that the cop and this homeless person that's stalking her, and the butler at the manor, and the bartender, and everybody are really the same fucking people. Like, she doesn't notice that shit? Like, man, I noticed it in, like, the first, like, 10-15 minutes. I'm like, man, if this chick doesn't notice this, man, she's blind as a motherfucker. Like, what the hell, dude? I don't know. Like, there's moments that sort of pass these characters by. There's moments when characters are just stupid for stupid's sake. And at the end of the day, it has moments of brilliance, but that's all it has. I guess that's A24 for you, man. I mean, sometimes A24 is absolutely amazing and fantastic, and sometimes you praise them like a motherfucker. You look at something like Everything Everywhere All at Once. That is fan-fucking-tastic, dude. Symbolism up the ass, but such an entertaining movie. But sometimes symbolism without an actual entertaining plot and structure and intriguing characters is just dull symbolism for dull symbolism's sake, and Men actually proves that. Interesting ideas, Not like I ever want to see a man giving birth out of his asshole ever again, but sure, I'm glad I guess I experienced it. But outside of that, can't say the movie's worth it, and that's a goddamn shame, man. I love Alex Garland, and I do love A24 at times, but this movie was kind of a bummer. Well, minus the whole asshole birth. And I really don't ever want to see that ever again. Oh yeah, speaking of disappointing things, Gerard Butler. Oh man, the Blu-ray of Last Seen Alive for $14.96, the DVD for $12.96. Now I'm not gonna lie, man, I did not watch this week. You know, I'm gonna be real, Gerard Butler doesn't really float my boat anymore. I'm just being honest, man. I mean, he's okay, he's average, I do enjoy him in certain things, but honestly, he's just more of a mundane action hero that occasionally does some really good shit. Accidentally, mistakenly, doesn't intend to, but it just happens from time to time, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and it looks like he's trying to survive the elements with a gun and his badass skills. We'll see how far that gets him. Oh, man. Oh, from the producers of Greenland and Den of Thieves. Well, that don't mean shit. Just because those movies are interesting doesn't mean this is gonna be. But I guess we'll find out, huh? When Will's estranged wife, Lisa, disappears during a stop at a gas station, Will must embark on a frantic undertaking to rescue her while eluding the police who, thinks he did it. Yes, foul play, of course. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed gas station attendant. Sure, Gerard Butler, we really believe you. Oh, man. Good God. You know what, man? This is probably interesting and intriguing, but probably a hour and a half time waster at the same time. You know that eventually he's gonna find her. You know that he's gonna beat up the bad guys. He's gonna clear his name. Come on, this is Gerard Butler. I mean, did you really think that the bad guys were gonna win and he was gonna die some gruesome death? I mean, surprise, surprise, but I doubt that shit's gonna happen anytime soon. He's gotta save the day. He's Gerard motherfucking Butler. I mean, come on, what do you clearly expect, folks? I mean, come on, man. Oh, shit, Jamie Alexander's in here, too? Shit. Damn, if she's not in the Thor franchise, well, barely in the Thor franchise, I guess she's doing shitty straight-to-DVD movies with Gerard Butler. Hey, it's a living. Apparently it is, man. I don't know. It's probably good for what it is, but if you're expecting some monumental, fantastic action thriller, man, you are out of your fucking mind, man, because this is just not going to be that. Been there, done that, and apparently now doing it again. Gerard Butler. You never cease to not amaze me. And I look forward to the next mundane thing you do next. Can't wait. However, a little bit of Antonio Banderas goodness, that intrigues me with Codename Banshee, the Blu-ray for $14.96, the DVD for $12.96. Oh, and Jamie King as well? Ooh, interesting. 2 assassins, 1 secret. No turning back, motherfucker. Yes, revenge reveals all. You don't say. Caleb, Antonio Banderas, a former government assassin in hiding, resurfaces when his protege, the equally deadly killer known as Banshee, discovers a bounty has been placed on Caleb's head. Oh shit! Now they must put the past behind them and join together one last time to fight out the secret CIA-backed killers who threaten to destroy them. Oh yes. Rival assassins coming together to take out the bad guys. Yeah, baby. Oh man, that sounds kind of intriguing to me, I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, Jamie King's a decent actress. I liked her in Sin City and some of the other stuff she's done. She's not bad. Antonio Banderas, man, I really love Antonio Banderas, and when he does a really great action movie, dude kills it. In fact, this is not his first realm into the action thriller assassin genre, because there is a phenomenal movie that doesn't get nearly as much love as it really deserves, and that is Assassins with Sylvester Stallone. Him and Sylvester Stallone are rival assassins, and they're trying to go after this mark exactly, and like they're trying to kill one another. It's so fucking good, man. It doesn't get nearly as much love as it honestly really should deserve, man. God, it's so fucking good, man. Easily forgotten, but dude, I love that movie so much, man. And Antonio Banderas can be really badass and really cool. Can't say it's probably absolutely phenomenal. Straight to DVD, Blu-ray, not sure. But with Antonio Banderas in it, it's gotta be somewhat good, right? I mean, it's gotta be. My man Antonio ain't gonna let me down. Desperado himself, why would he ever do it? He may be getting older, but that don't mean he can't be equally as badass. Come on, you could beat the shit out of Jamie King any day. With a gun? Well, I don't know about that. If she's got a gun and you've got a gun, not gonna lie, you know, arthritis is a bitch. And you've probably got some of it already, Antonio. She does have one leg up on you with that, but you're Antonio motherfucking Banderas, dude. You got this in the bag, motherfucker. Oh, indeed you do, man. That was kind of interesting and intriguing. Not bad. As is some more interesting DVD love with Weekend Warriors for $9.96. The game just got real. Oh, it has it indeed, man. With Jason London and Corbin motherfucking Burnson. Dude, the Corbin Burnson. Oh, man, I love Corbin. Damn, dude, Major League. Come on. He's great. Oh, dude, what is it? Like, sort of like a surviving wilderness flick or something? Oh. A fun-filled camping trip turns into a desperate fight for survival after kids witness a horrific murder in the wild. Enduring the harsh elements and ferocious wildlife, they must also find a way to reach civilization before the killers find them. Oh, indeed, before they do, and all hell breaks loose. Oh, yeah. Interesting, man. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Actually, a few things. Do you remember that movie with Meryl Streep called The River Wild? It was from like the mid-90s. This woman and her husband, they're on vacation and they're sort of taken hostage by Kevin Bacon and they're trying to survive in the wilderness. So good movie, man. Really great. Kind of a forgotten flick, but really good. And also with sort of the surviving wilderness aspect here, it kind of reminds me of like an old school film like Grizzly or The Edge. Yeah, so they have to face off against a bear. Oh, that is kind of cool, man. Interesting. I don't know how good the movie is. I mean, it's probably not even close to being The Edge or The River Wild, but it's gotta have some tense moments in it. And I mean, and it's got Corbin Burnson in it. I mean, if that guy survived lawyers in LA Law, dude, he's got this shit. He's got it in the bag. Baby killers and grizzly bears. Man, that shit ain't gonna face his ass. Not even close, man. It's probably got some moments in it, but probably nothing phenomenal either. But hey, my man Corbin motherfucking Burnson, that shit's got me intrigued already just for that guy alone, man. God, I miss that guy so much. I really do. So good. Interesting indeed. Some indie DVD love for sure. And by the way, just so you know, yes, they do have that Blu-ray digital 2-movie collection for Sonic and Sonic 2 for $29.96, which is really cool if you don't already own the first film already, and a little bit of Sonic Boom love as well. 6 discs of all that Sonic animated goodness, man. The Sonic fan base is big, and I heard some decent things about this, so if you haven't gotten into that Sonic love and gotten into this Sonic love, hey, more Sonic? How can that ever be a bad thing? I mean, clearly, come on, man. Not bad. Some indie DVD Blu-ray love, big release goodness, not bad. Maybe there's more? Oh, indeed we do have some more love to check out for the physical media goodness. Nice. I gotta tell you, man, I gotta always come in here to Walmart and check out the actual side sections, because as much as there's new release love in the front, there happens to be some good shit on the side as well. You always gotta check every corner, every nook and cranny for all the physical media love, because you never know where it's gonna be. Like a little bit of Cronenberg goodness, Crimes of the Future, the DVD for $12.96. Yes. Body horror Cronenberg is back, yes. Viggo Mortensen, Leah Seydoux, Kristen Stewart. Whoa. Oh, man. Jeez. Talk about body alteration, huh? Gee, good lord, man. I got a chance to watch this on Amazon Prime, and
I was intrigued to look forward to this because I love Cronenberg, man. I am an old school Cronenberg fan. I do really love his work. And seeing him come back to the sort of body horror genre was the thing that really got me, was the thing that really was like, okay, man, I've got to watch this. Just for that alone, it's got to be good. He hasn't really let me down when it comes to body horror in the past, so he can't really do it now, can he? Well, yeah, about that. Ah, damn. Okay, look. So basically, it's about this world where humans are living in this synthetic environment, right? And that their bodies are changing and the environments around them are changing, and the body has become different. It's morphed and changed and evolved, and now the body is used for more than just survival. It's used as art, performance art, and dissection. And there's certain people like Saul, played by Viggo Mortensen, who uses that to their advantage. He's a performance artist that uses his body to reveal the insides and the beauty and the ugly of the human body. And his partner slash lover, played by Lea Seydoux, they're sort of a duo that does this. They're intriguing. People really love their performance art. And at the same time, they're trying to up the ante of it. And there's this potential of perhaps doing a real-life autopsy on this child. And what will that exactly reveal? And what will it actually tell us about humans and society and evolution? And that's where the movie generally is for the most part. And I got to admit, I mean, right off the bat, it's great to have Cronenberg back here in full body horror form, man. And there are moments in here that is truly disgusting. There is moments in here where you kind of wince and you're like, oh, God. Oh, man. I'm so glad you're back, Cronenberg. I mean, there is moments like this guy here doing a performance dance art with, like, ears all over him. Certain moments where they're cutting Viggo Mortensen open, where they're literally like flaying a woman's skin while she's like, under the chair with a knife. And it's just sort of moments where the body horror is meant to be not exactly horrific, but intriguing and sensual and sexual. That's really what it is. I mean, there's moments here where basically when Lea Seydoux is opening up Viggo Mortensen, it's almost like they're getting off on it. It's almost like they're having sex. They're so into it, and they're moaning, and they're moving in a way that feels like they're literally having sex while performing surgery at the same time. And it's intriguing, and I like that aspect to it. And I like the performances, and I like the way Cronenberg directs this. And you can really tell that Viggo, especially Viggo and Lea Seydoux, man, they are really giving it their all as performers and actors, and really going for what Cronenberg wants in this really futuristic world. I really love it, man. However, there's not really much of a story here. The story is almost non-existent. You kind of get a little bit of a story towards the end of the movie, the idea of this child that could be different than other human beings and what that would reveal about society at large. But that really comes towards the end of the movie. For the most part, it's just little moments of experimental surgery that it's almost like being in a art gallery with pretentious art critics, where they're looking at the surgery and they're kind of like having the glasses and videotaping it, and then afterwards they'll have a party and everybody will come up to Saul and Lea Seydoux's character and they'll be like, yes, that was really intriguing. I was really taken by the art and the debonair of it, and it was so sensual, and I got off on it in an amazing way, and it really intrigued me. And I was like, okay, so this is sort of like an art critic movie, I guess, just body horror-ish? Okay. I don't know, I mean, like, there were moments where I was intrigued by it, but the movie moves really slowly, and at times, man, you get bored like a motherfucker really quickly. You're like, dude, can we have some excitement? Can we get back to, like, I don't know, opening Viggo Mortensen up and, like, going through his body organs? Because, damn, man, something to keep me awake in this motherfucker? I mean, seriously. I mean, even the characters aren't really all that exciting. I mean, outside of some of the body horror and messing with the body for the performance art's sake, some of the interactions was really kind of lame and lifeless. I mean, you have an intriguing idea here of performance art and using the body in gruesome ways to show the beauty of it, but the characters themselves, when they're interacting with one another, it just kind of just comes off like they're emotionless beings. And maybe that was the point of the movie, the idea that in the future we've become emotionless and the only way to show emotion is through harming our body in unique and fascinating ways to truly express ourselves. Maybe that was what he was going for, but how he went about it, I just don't think was very exciting or interesting or all that entertaining. And that's really a goddamn shame. That's what really sort of got me, is that, look, Cronenberg is really great, and I really love Cronenberg as an artist, but, I mean, he's done a lot of better body horror, and this just isn't one of them. And that really sucks, man. That really honestly does, dude. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I appreciate him going back to his body horror roots. I appreciate some of the weird, performance art body stuff that he did, going inside the human body and altering yourself for the sake of art. And if you really think about it, this movie is actually a comment on plastic surgery and the obsessiveness of it, and how people really feel like they're improving their bodies, but in fact they may be doing more harm than good. Some of the messaging is great here. The problem is the movie is boring as fuck. It really is, man. I was bored to tears with this movie, and at the end of the day, I finished the film thinking to myself, what was the point of this? I mean, it's great to see Cronenberg back, but he really didn't do anything interesting or unique that really reinvented the body horror genre, or really felt like it deserved a place within his body horror overture of great, amazing films that he's done over the years. I just don't know, man. There's moments of brilliance here, but it kind of felt like David Cronenberg was trying to remember how to make a really great body horror flick, but failing epically, man. And honestly, it just wasn't worth it, man. I was really looking forward to this. Maybe I had too many high hopes of the David Cronenberg that I used to love, and seeing the return of him doing that, but it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Intriguing moments, some really great sensual and sexual performance, body horror entertainment, but you can get that from a lot of films out there, even earlier Cronenberg films. This is just not one of them, and it's just a goddamn shame. It really honestly is, man. It's just mundane, with mundane dialogue and mundane characters, a few moments of brilliance, but honestly, as far as a return to form, this Cronenberg ain't what he used to be. Just saying. Oh, yeah, and here I forgot, it wouldn't actually be an out and about week if there wasn't some kind of straight to DVD or Blu-ray Bruce Willis flick. My bad. With White Elephant. The Blu-ray for $14.96, the DVD for $12.96. Oh, man. Yet another one of these goddamn movies. I gotta be honest with you, I gotta kind of start to cherish them, and the only reason why I say that is because, honestly, there's not many more of them left. I mean, Bruce Willis did retire from acting, and he only did a select amount of these until he called it quits, so we're heading fast and furiously towards the end of these. It's been a fun run, I suppose, but it is eventually going to come to an end, but until that happens, well, guess we'll just have to continue to indulge ourselves now, won't we? Oh, man. You want to know what? I watched this on Amazon Prime, okay? I did because, look, I'm not going to lie. I'm a glutton for punishment, man. I keep coming back to these goddamn things every single fucking time, man. I continue to do it. Why? Because I remember the good days of Bruce Willis, all right? And I'm always thinking to myself, this one will do the trick, baby. And, of course, I just keep getting disappointed over and over again. I'm a battered housewife, folks. Of course, aren't we all at some point or another with these goddamn movies? I'm still with you, Bruce, regardless of how you treat me, baby. Oh, man. Now, honestly, this one actually kind of surprised me because, man, it's got a lot of people in here. It's got Rooker, it's got Willis, it's got Kurylenko, it's got Malkovich. I'm thinking to myself, god damn, man, that is a cast. For one of these straight-to-DVD Blu-ray flicks, I mean, hell, man, that is a lot of really great talent in one film. I mean, it can't be all that bad, right? Yeah, about that. Oh, man. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Yeah, it also tends to make sense with this movie as well. So, hey, double meaning, huh? Oh, man. Basically, Rooker plays this assassin hitman that is hired by Willis. Technically, Willis is his boss. And there's this assassination attempt that goes really wrong against one of Willis's rivals, the mob boss. There's witnesses. Rooker's got to take care of it. There's also this whole plot line of the Russians moving in on his territory and some sort of deal that's going down, and he's got to take out the Mexicans, and then there's like this turf war that's going on. Jesus, and everything is eventually connected, kind of, sort of, not really, and all the complications and the action that follows from there, or somewhat of the action, I suppose. I mean, truth be told, it's not a terrible movie. I mean, it's not like the worst straight-to-DVD flick you've ever seen from Bruce Willis. It's actually probably one of the slightly better ones, I have to be honest with you, and the only reason why it kind of is even close to it is the other actors in here. I mean, they do kind of, lift it up a bit, actually. They kind of do, especially Rooker, man. I mean, I love the Rook, dude. Hey, come on. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1 and 2, The Walking Dead, and so many other really great stuff that he's done over the years, man. He's a fucking rock star, in my opinion. He's a fucking living legend. He's fucking awesome, dude. And so anything he's in, he automatically elevates it. The unfortunate thing is he doesn't really, I hate to say it, but he's really good in the movie, but everything around him is kind of mundane and boring, and he's trying to lift it up the best he possibly can, but the dialogue isn't helping him, and sometimes some of the actors aren't, because he has scenes with Willis where Willis is supposed to be really like gruff and badass and mean-spirited and imposing and threatening, and you're just sitting there like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, man. I feel like Rooker is so much better at this than Willis ever is now. I mean, I understand why with the aphasia and everything, and he's not what he used to be, so I kind of give him a little bit of slack here and there, but it still didn't come off as effective. I mean, especially towards the end when Rooker decides to go rogue, and basically Willis is like, okay, I'm going to attack you. I'm going to go after you with everything I got. You're like, dude, you're like a schoolyard bully that wants to take somebody's apple from their lunch. I mean, get the fuck out of here, dude. I mean, seriously. It just doesn't really work the way you want it to. I mean, Rooker's trying at least, and I give him credit. John Malkovich is here for less than 5 minutes, dude. He's in the beginning, he's in the middle, and that's it. That's all he's got, man. And there's nothing else with Malkovich. He just comes in, does a little bit of a cameo, and he's out. He got his paycheck. He's cool, man. Hey, it cashed, all right? So, I mean, he's fine with that shit. Yeah, it is what it is. It was nice to see him in it, but he doesn't do a goddamn thing in this fucking thing, let me tell you, man. But I will say, I do like Olga Kurylenko. I've always really liked her. She's gorgeous, very capable, badass at times. I've loved a lot of the movies that she's done, and she's been in highly underrated, actually. I don't think she gets nearly as much love as I think she actually deserves. And there's moments where she's really effective in this flick, man, playing the cop that's witnessed the murder, and she's going up against crooked cops and the mob and these bad guys and trying to survive. There's moments where she's really good in this movie. But again, just like Rooker, she is literally hounded by bad dialogue and other actors that are really not living up to their same potential in the movie. And so she's trying to act her heart out to make it as effective as possible. But dude, she's just saddled with a bad overall script and a bad plot that's really letting her, and hell, even Rooker, down, man. And it's just a goddamn shame. They're trying to lift up the material, but it's so fucking tough, man. And at every turn, it's just failing. But it's not exactly their fault, though. It's more of the filmmaker's fault, and it's the other actors that just aren't bringing their same type of game to the table. And it's a real fucking shame. I mean, even the action scenes, there's moments where the action is really cool, and there's other moments where it's really limp dick, it's terribly shot. But then there was moments at the end of the movie. There's this really great shootout action scene with Rooker and Kirilenko and all these bad guys. And there's a moment where, like, Rooker's got this, like, machine gun or something, and he's, like, mowing down the bad guy. And, like, heads are coming off and limbs are flying, and I'm like, holy shit, man, this is straight out of fucking Rambo. I'm like, what the fuck just happened here, man? And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Why the fuck wasn't the rest of the movie like this? I mean, goddamn, man. I mean, that was fucking cool. Unfortunately, like, that was only, like, 5 minutes of the movie out of, like, an hour and a half flick, so, shit, I guess I'll take what I can get, but fuck, man. Seriously, dude. And it just felt like the plot elements didn't really come together effectively. I mean, even the whole, like, revenge aspect between Rooker and Willis, at the end of the day, it was really unsatisfying because they don't really do any sort of payoffs to their relationship or the revenge aspect. They do nothing with that whatsoever. The whole turf war, Mexican, Russians versus Willis's mob, doesn't come to any sort of satisfying end. It feels kind of tacked on and useless and lifeless. Certain characters that were supposed to have a bigger meaning and a bigger importance, and they just come off as limp dick and basically useless. And why the fuck were they there in the first place at all to begin with? I mean, there's moments where this film actually kind of succeeds, and there's moments where it fails literally epically like a motherfucker, man. And the only reason why this film is worth a damn, in my honest opinion, is because of Kirilenko and Rooker, who lifted up past its sort of meaningless DVD existence. And I gotta give them credit for it. I mean, Willis is just going through the motions here to get a paycheck. I mean, he doesn't really give a shit. There's literally a moment where the character is in the hospital and he's having dialogue with Rooker. And I swear to God, if somebody watches this, let me know, man. But that wasn't even Willis's voice. Like, he was voiced over in that scene. I'm like, dude, it's like some weird Italian guy doing Willis's voiceover. I'm like, what the fuck is this? The hell? Did Willis just not come into the ADR session that day? Like, what the hell? It's just so odd, man. I mean, there's moments where it's really great, and then there's moments where they honestly don't really give a shit, and it's the same old straight-to-DVD garbage you've seen before. Kind of a mixed bag, but a better mixed bag than you've seen from Willis previously. So I guess that's something? Kinda? I don't know, man. For what it's worth, it ain't bad. It ain't garbage, but it ain't exactly great either. I mean, if you're gonna watch it for anything, watch it for Rooker. But even Rooker can't lift this thing up past the really terrible DVD life that this thing is gonna have, man. He tries, and I give him so much credit because he's Rooker, man. And he gives it his all no matter what. But, yeah. Not even he, the Rook, can save this motherfucker. Shame, but hey, at least he tried, and I gotta give him points for that, right? Hey, at least he was doing his best with this goddamn thing. Can't say many other people were, but hey, Rook's always got my back. baby. And actually, so does Kirilenko, to be honest with you, man. Lord, they do indeed. Give them credit for something. Even though this movie flounders, hey, they at least tried to stay alive the best they can before this movie literally dropped them dead with boredom. Hey, it is what it is, because live by a code, die by a bullet, and die by the death of straight to DVD flicks. Willis, you never cease to amaze me. Harry Potter, the 20th anniversary, return to Hogwarts. Dun, 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 dun. I know. You love my singing. Harry Potter, the 20th anniversary, return to Hogwarts, HBO Max original for $14.96. Ah, yes, this is coming out this week. Oh, man. Boy, nostalgia like a motherfucker. Holy shit, it is. Dude, 20 years, actually over 20 years since Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone came out in movie theaters. Dude, 2001 that movie came out. Seriously, can you believe that shit? I was just getting out of high school. Damn, I'm old. Holy shit. Dude. Man, that is fucking insane. That's nuts. God. Wow, time flies badly. It really does, man. You know, look, I watched this on HBO Max with my girlfriend. My girlfriend, as I've told you guys before, she is a huge Potterhead. She loves Harry Potter. She is devoted to Harry Potter in a big bad way. And I can't quite say I blame her. A lot of people are. I mean, people who love the movies now weren't even born when the first movie came out. That's wicked, man. I mean, that just goes to show you the ever-longing, lasting impression that this series is going to have for many generations to come. Seriously, it's going to be with us for many decades, man. It's just going to be one of those ones that's going to survive the test of time. It truly, honestly will, and rightfully so. I mean, when I was watching this with my girlfriend, I just got poured over with the biggest sense of nostalgia and remembrance of the series and these actors, and I was loving every second of this. And they bring back a lot of people in this reunion special. I mean, it's not just the main actors themselves, it's a lot of the supporting cast, it's directors, it's producers. I mean, a lot of people participated in talking about this series and their thoughts on the movies and their experiences. It is phenomenal, and I think this is an extremely well done documentary reunion special. I mean, they put a lot of money and effort into this thing, and it really shows, man. They definitely wanted to make a big meal extravaganza out of this. All these people coming back together talking Harry Potter, and man, did they exceed in a big bad way. It's like an hour, 45 minutes, give or take, and all that time, I'm just in awe of these actors and their love for the material and their love for Harry Potter and how these experiences change them as actors and human beings. Especially Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, and Daniel Radcliffe. Man, you gotta remember that they were just wee little kids when they started filming that first Harry Potter movie, and they didn't know what was going to happen with their lives or how it was going to change them. And literally over the course of many years, coming together and experiencing certain things in their lives together, and the same people on board making these movies, whether it was cast and crew, and these are bonds that are going to last a fucking lifetime, man. I mean, they really honestly are. And how they talk about it, you can really tell how much it means to them and the emotion of it all. And it is extremely powerful, extremely touching. And man, there were moments where, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of welled up, dude. I mean, seriously. The love that they have for this has really translated into this bond that will forever make them this family, and how it really has shaped their lives and who they've become as adults and human beings in this world, and how that has translated into people really loving what they've done with this series, and how people literally hang on to these movies and form relationships and friendships and bonds forever. Dude, it's touching, and it literally got to me, and I think it's going to get to a lot of people as well. It's truly a remarkable special and a remarkable remembrance of this series from a lot of actors who have a lot of really great moments talking about this series and what it meant to them and what it meant to their careers and their lives and the friendships and the heartaches and the struggles and the dilemmas and the achievements that they had over the course of this long series. And it's amazing. It is absolutely, utterly amazing. And I love the stories that they tell, how they get to come back and reunite with certain actors that they hadn't seen in a long-ass time, and telling the stories of making the movies and promoting it, and how certain scenes shape their life for good or bad. Man, this is an amazing retrospective reunion, and I just can't believe that it's been 20 years, man. It feels like no time has passed whatsoever, and this is really touching. It's heartfelt, it's heartwarming, it's incredibly nostalgic, and for anybody, and I seriously mean this, anybody who loves Harry Potter, this has to be a must-watch, perhaps even a must-own, because, you know, there's certain times as a fan where, you know, you love what you love, but you never know whether the actors really love it themselves, right? I mean, you look at somebody like a Harrison Ford, right? As much as I love Harrison Ford, you have to admit, when he's playing Han Solo, or when he did, he always talks about how he was getting sick of the character and he just wanted the character to die, and he was done playing it, and he just didn't like what he was doing any longer. And, you know, I appreciate his honesty, but at the end of the day, I was like, dude, there's a lot of people who love Han Solo that are huge fans of that character, and when you say that, that is kind of heartbreaking for the fans, and they kind of feel like you just never cared, and that kind of stings a little bit. It really honestly does, man. And so to see all these actors really coming in here and really saying how much this really affected them and how much it meant to them and how it really carries with them to this day no matter what they do, and how they'll always be appreciative of it and appreciative of the fan base, to me that makes being a fan even more worth it, when you realize that they have the same type of love for it as you do, and there's something special that comes with that. And this reunion is amazing in every single aspect, and I thought they hit this thing out of the park, man. I'm just kind of ashamed that this reunion special isn't like 10 hours long. Like, I'm serious, I could have watched another 9 hours of them talking about Harry Potter and their experiences, and they just quickly go through each movie and the making of it and certain scenes. But man, I could have like seen a 12-part documentary on this shit. I really could. I loved it that goddamn much, man. It really is an amazing experience as a fan, and just seeing these actors all grown up, really remembering what this series meant to them and the people that they worked with. Absolutely phenomenal, dude. Amazing. And it really has to be seen to be believed by any fan of this series, because it really is truly that special, man. It really honestly is. Dude, you know, some reunion specials let you down like a motherfucker, they really do, and then other ones like this really make you feel even more special about a series that is one of the best out there. And there's reasons why it is, because these people care that much, and a reunion special like this, it shows immensely. Oh man, so fucking good, dude. Really phenomenal. It has no right to be as good as it is, but dude, they hit it out of the park with this, man. So effing phenomenal. You gotta check this thing out, man. It's so fucking good, man, truly. If you only watch it through streaming or you own it, gots to experience this, man. It's just that damn good. Oh, so good, man. I mean, one end of the display, we have the Harry Potter reunion love, and on the other end over here, we have more Cronenberg, we have straight to DVD Willis, and the new release goodies as well, man. The big blockbuster love. Dude, Walmart was killing it this week. Not half bad overall, baby, for good old Wally World. Gotta dig it. Let's head out. Wait a minute. Did you just see what I saw? I mean, seriously, there is so much that Walmart is carrying this week. I mean, what? We saw like 5, 6, 7 new releases, something like that? Holy shit, man. What am I, in the fucking Twilight Zone? What the hell, man? Seriously. Like, usually we never have it this good, man. I don't know whether it's something in the water or whether they finally just decide to care about the physical media. I mean, I'd like to think that I have, you know, some influence on them. Yeah, I highly doubt that shit. Oh, man, I don't know what's going on, but I really love it, dude. I mean, they had the new release goodies. They had the new release love. They had the exclusives. They have even some of the indie goodness as well. Damn, man. They be killing it this week. Shit. Man, like I said, I just wish every week was like that. That would have always been a very pleasant experience coming in here. But as we know, that's not always the deal with this place. In fact, more often than not, it's usually one of those experiences where you're like, yeah, the lesser the better. Indeed it is, man. Oh, God. You know, look, man, I never know what to expect with Walmart from one week to the next. Hey, great physical media love this week. Next week, could have diddly shit. I don't know. It's like rolling a dice, dude. You roll the dice at the casino, you're like, hey, I could be a big winner, I could be a frickin' loser. And with Walmart, it's like a fucking casino gambling facility where they literally love taking your money, but they don't give you jack shit in return. This week, we actually got great shit. I can't say we're gonna get it next week. I can't say we're getting it 2 weeks from now, or even a month from now, but cherish what we've got now, because Lord knows we'll remember how good it is when we're living through the bad times. And you know we're gonna be doing that shit again at some point. You know it, guys. But hey, I'll take what I can get this week, and I know you will as well, man. Absolutely, dude. The goodness of physical media was on display this week, and oh, I'm a very happy camper. I know you are as well. Hey, they supplied the physical media goodness. Thank God for that. But there is more physical media love ahead. At least I hope there is. Well, by what Walmart has, there better be, man. That's for damn sure. But how about we go searching for all the physical media goodies ahead? All right, everybody. We are at our second location, Target. But before I go in, I gotta talk to you guys about something. Now, look. Streaming services are usually pretty reliable, but unfortunately, well, you can't say it for all of them, especially nowadays when it comes to HBO Max. From Variety, HBO Max quietly removed 6 Warner Brothers streaming exclusive movies. You don't say. Let's dive in, shall we? Warner Brothers Discovery has been quietly culling content from HBO Max, including several Warner Brothers movies that were exclusively streaming on the service in what appears to be an effort to cut costs. Within the past few weeks, at least 6 Warner Brothers movies have been removed from HBO Max. Moonshot, a sci-fi rom-com starring Lena Condor and Cole Sprouse. Artificial Intelligence dystopia comedy Superintelligence starring Melissa McCarthy. Robert Zemeckis' 2020 remake of The Witches. An American Pickle starring Seth Rogen, Doug Liman heist pick Lockdown, and drama Charm City Kings from director Angel Manuel Soto. So quite a bit, actually. All 6 of the films were labeled as Max Originals. The removals were noted by users on Reddit. Meanwhile, the reboot of comedy classic House Party from LeBron James and Maverick Carter Spring Hill was previously slated to premiere July 28th on HBO Max, but was scrubbed from the release calendar. Also, users on social media noticed that HBO original series Vinyl, which aired for 1 season on 2016, is no longer available on HBO Max, nor are limited series Mrs. Fletcher, Lena Dunham's Camping, or comedy thriller Run starring Domhnall Gleeson. To be sure, streaming platforms continuously add and remove content, which is true. But what's unusual is that Warner Bros. Discovery did not announce the removals of the 6 WB streaming exclusives from HBO Max. The movies are available to rent or purchase through third-party VOD services, though. Also worth noting is that Moonshot was pulled from HBO Max only about 3 months after its March 31st debut. HBO Max's removal of the Warner Brothers movies could be part of WBD's move to get streaming content payment obligations for underperforming titles off its books. In the case of an unreleased movie like the House Party remake, the media conglomerate could be accounting for it as a tax write-down. Oh, yes, it is. Now, reps for Warner Brothers Discovery didn't respond to inquiries about the HBO Max film removals. The company is scheduled to report second quarter 2022 earnings Thursday after market close. Warner Brothers Discovery assumed a massive chunk of $43 billion, that's with a B, in debt through the Warner Media deal. Oh, my God. They are trying their best to end up cutting costs the best way they possibly can. And like other streaming services, HBO Max issues monthly updates about titles being added and removed. For example, it announced that all 8 original Harry Potter films will be exiting HBO Max at the end of August, while it's also adding a big bucket of content, including 28 films from A24, such as Room and Ex Machina, but none of the Warner Brothers original films purged from HBO Max were included in the recent update. You don't say. Boy, man, the plot thickens. Indeed it does, man, especially when it comes to streaming wars. You can bet your ass on that one. Now, there's a hell of a lot more to deal with HBO Max and Warner Brothers. We'll get to that later, folks. However, let's talk about this for a moment. Look, I'm going to be real with you. I've always said that streaming services are very tricky, right? I've always told you that certain content comes, certain content goes, and for the most part, it's hard to rely on something being there from month to month. It's not an exact science, okay? That's for damn sure. But the fact that they cut originals that were primarily used to promote HBO Max and get rid of their own original content, that's fucking crazy. Because all the times when we ever hear of movies or TV shows moving from one platform to another, it's usually in the case of certain studios taking back content or contract issues, you name it. But the original content usually always stays, but not in this case. And there's the whole issue right now of basically Warner Brothers is trying to cut costs like a motherfucker at this point. They are trying to get rid of any costs that possibly they can do to basically reduce the debt. Because as I read in the article, they have a shitload of debt, and the only way to do it is to cut corners here and cut corners there. And if they can use things as a tax write-off, yeah, I hate to say it, but that's going to happen. Even HBO Max originals are going. And to me, that's not a good sign. Okay, look, as much as sometimes I shit on Netflix, and trust me, oh boy do I, let's be real. Their original content, they keep on there no matter what. Because it's their original content, they own it, they see no reason to get rid of it. But when a streaming platform like this is getting rid of original content just to get rid of it for a tax write-off, that doesn't spell success to me at all. It spells doom and gloom in a big bad way. And it also sucks for you as the subscriber, because if they're just willy-nilly getting rid of original content, what else are they going to get rid of? And how does that affect you as a consumer? You're paying money every single month for original HBO Max content. Stuff that you could stream day in, day out, every week, every month, you name it. And the fact that they're cutting it down at this point, that's kind of tricky to me, because what's going to happen next? What are they going to cut? There are certain movies and TV shows that never even got seen that they just completely cut from the schedule. You'll never even see them ever in your entire life. So, again, like, as a consumer, I'd be very worried about investing in HBO Max at this point. I mean, I still do, But the only reason why I do is because of Harry Potter and because of certain things that I'm trying to catch up on. But once that's done, I'm out. I mean, I may come back with certain TV shows that might come back on the streaming platform and then cut my losses afterwards, but I'm not sticking around, man. I'm not fucking doing it. I mean, if you're just willy-nilly getting rid of stuff for the sake of cutting costs and not even keeping the original content that you've invested in, then, what's next? Where are we taking this? Anything can be cut at any moment if it's not successful. But the only reason why it's not successful is because you're not giving it a chance to be successful and you're not promoting it to be successful. You're just putting it on the platform and it's sitting there in algorithm hell. And that doesn't help any matters either. But HBO Max sees it as extra fat that needs to be cut. Okay, look, at the end of the day, if you're going to invest in a streaming service and pay your money, you want the content to back that up. And HBO Max has a lot of content, but it is losing content. But it's also losing content because they're choosing to get rid of it. Honestly, where is this going to go next? I mean, they owe a lot of money in debt. And honestly, if something isn't successful enough, well, they just don't give a shit. They're just going to cut it regardless. What does that mean for you as a consumer? Well, that means that you got to make better decisions. And if they don't have what you want or they don't have enough of it, then get out, dude. Just saying. Let me know what you think about that, but that's tragic shit indeed. But hey, it is what it is. But what about the physical media love? Hopefully Target has some. How about we go in and check it out?
All right, everybody. We are in at Target, and yes, physical media love again. Did you really expect anything different? I mean, come on, man. Seriously. Let's dive into it, shall we? With a little bit more Sonic love with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. The 4K digital for $27.99, the Blu-ray digital for $22.99, a DVD for $19.99, and of course they have the 2 movie collection goodness, Blu-ray digital for $29.99 as well. And let me say something right off the bat, man, and it really is the truth here. This is a Sonic fan's wet dream. I am dead serious, man, no doubt about it. There are so many references and moments from various video games. I mean, I knew some of them, but I looked this up. There are way more than I ever could have anticipated, and I think looking at a film like this, you have to see, with all of the moments and the references and the callbacks, they really did respect the fanboys out there, the fangirls. They really did respect them and respect their love of the games and the series. And I think as far as video game adaptations go, that's not exactly the easiest thing. I mean, easier said than done, right? I mean, seriously. Some have failed epically, some have succeeded in enormous ways. I mean, you have to admit, it has definitely had some rough patches, hasn't it? I mean, Super Mario Brothers, anybody? Look, I like that movie. I actually really do, man. I grew up with that flick. I thought it was fun. It has literally practically nothing to do with the video games whatsoever. I mean, not a damn bit of it whatsoever. Honestly, their names are Mario and Luigi. There's Koopa. Yeah, and that's about it. I mean, Jesus Christ, man. Talk about a movie that is so far removed from the actual video games. It's like shocking. But then again, there's also ones that have been really faithfully adapted in a really great way. You look at that original Mortal Kombat movie, man. That still stands up as one of the best video game adaptations of all time. So there's 2 giant spectrums, and there's everything in between. I mean, you look at Assassin's Creed, which has its moments of being really faithful and then not so much. You also look at Tomb Raider. Now, I think the newer Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander is, I think, better of a film than the Lara Croft ones with Angelina Jolie. I think the Angelina Jolie ones are a little bit more iconic. It feels like very much video game adaptation based. They were trying to go for something a little bit more adventure-like,
yes, still the games, but kind of removed from that. But I still really love those adaptations. I mean, especially the Vikander one. I kind of wish we would have gotten a sequel, but well, that's shit the bed now. We ain't getting that anymore, man. I mean, you look at that, you look at Street Fighter. Which, say what you will about Street Fighter, man. I happen to enjoy the movie, okay? Is it kind of cheesy, cringy at times? Yeah, I get it. But it is kind of faithful to the adaptation to a certain degree, alright? I mean, you end up looking at Resident Evil, which for me, the first Resident Evil is so much better than the rest of the other ones out there. Still, there's moments where they really adapted well with some of the monsters, but as far as like, making a truly genuine, scary horror video game adaptation experience, yeah, not so much, man. But then again, Silent Hill really scratched that itch in a big bad way, and they did it really phenomenally. So, I mean, yeah, you can still do it depending on who actually makes the damn thing at the end of the day. I mean, you have Warcraft, which wasn't half bad, but again, nobody really saw the damn thing. You also have Wing Commander. You remember Wing Commander from back in the day with Freddie Prinze Jr.? Holy shit, man, I do. I was in the movie theater watching that motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, you've got that kind of stuff. Hell, you've even got House of the Motherfucking Dead, man. Okay, as far as video game adaptations, that is pretty pitiful. Alright, that's pretty bad. But I happen to kind of like the movie. I know, don't hate me, guys, alright? I put it under the category of so bad it's good, like guilty pleasure bad. Yeah, that's where I stand with that one. But then again, there's other ones that aren't half bad, all things considered. Rampage is okay at times. Doom, I kind of like Doom. It's not perfect, but it's not bad either, man. I mean, even something like Uncharted, right? Look, I didn't like Uncharted, but I was talking to the electronics manager at Target, and he really enjoyed it. He thought that it was a faithful adaptation. They took a lot of great moments and callbacks from the video games, and he felt that they honored it in a really great way. Not for me, but then again, it was for him, so fair enough. I mean, at the end of the day, all I think we want as fans is to be respected, the material to be respected, us to be respected, because the material is only popular because of us, because we invested our time, effort, and money into making this property what it actually is. And all we want is the creators of these to actually show us the respect and dignity that we deserve, and when that happens, then those adaptations are really great, and they make us as fans feel proud and feel like they actually listen to us and they actually care about us. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's really great. And I don't care whether we're talking about video game adaptations, comic book adaptations, novel adaptations, it doesn't matter. You have to respect the fan base. You have to respect the lovers of the material, because they're the ones that brought that material, that entity to the dance, right? Whether it's a video game or a cartoon or a comic book, they're the ones that made it popular. So yes, you have to do your own thing at times and have a little bit of creative license, but you also have to really do it in a way that makes the fans feel proud of being a part of that and feel like it's something that they can really love and feel invested in, and feel like it's something from their childhood that they can really embrace and cherish. And so many times video game adaptations have really kind of shit the bed. Some have been better than others, some have been half and half, but I have to admit that the Sonic movies, both 1 and 2, are really great video game adaptations, and they take the Sonic character and they really, yes, do something interesting outside the box of video games, but also has the essence of the character and the series that really makes people love these movies. And as far as I'm concerned, many video game adaptations, many creators out there can take a lot of inspiration from the Sonic people, because honestly, they know how to do it. And guess what? They do it pretty damn well. Harry Potter. Oh, yes, baby. Harry Potter, the 20th anniversary return to Hogwarts, the DVD for $14.99. Oh, man. And just like I said over at Walmart, and I'm going to reiterate it yet again, this reunion was fucking tastic, dude. Seriously, it lived up to everything I was hoping it was going to be and so much more. Seriously, God, it was absolutely phenomenal, man. And it was so nostalgic that I thought to myself, God, I really do want more Harry Potter. Why can't we make more of them, right? Come on. It's not gonna hurt, is it? And I'm sure a lot of people who saw this or will see this are probably going to think the exact same thing. And I know that they have that play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and I'm sure Warner Brothers and J.K. Rowling have tried to talk to the three main leads about potentially coming back to the franchise and, you know, making more movies. And I know they've been kind of hesitant about it and not really wanting to do it or not quite sure how they feel about it exactly. And I'm sure, absolutely sure that the fan base would love it. The fan base would eat that shit up in a heartbeat, man. They absolutely, honestly would. But is it a necessity? Do we really need it? I mean, the reunion special like this, it really shows in a big bad way that, man, you know, you remember the movies, you remember the actors and the good times with the series, and you kind of want more of it. But sometimes less is more. Now, hear me out on this, okay? Because I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking of, oh, come on, Sam. More is more. Seriously, why would having less be a good thing? Don't you want more of the good stuff? I mean, let the good times roll, right? Okay, well, yeah, sometimes. But honestly, it's nice to have a capper to things, right? It's nice to have things end at a certain point. To keep it going forever and ever and ever isn't exactly a great thing. It's not, man. And I'm just being honest with you. I mean, there's something about having a finite end to a series and stopping it. There's something really genuine about that, and there's something that feels very final. And it's not like you can't revisit the movies over and over again. You can. Hell, my girlfriend is proof positive of that shit. I mean, she really honestly is, man. God, she watches that shit ad nauseum, man. So many of the movies over and frickin' over again, as I'm sure a lot of people do. But to get more, the expectations would be wild. People would really, I think, going with too much hype, potentially really disappointed. Well, it's not like the other ones, or it's not as good as the other ones, and disappointment might eventually set in. And sometimes overextending a franchise isn't exactly the best thing. Look at Star Trek, look at Star Wars. I mean, I'm not saying that they haven't had their moments of being really equally as good as what they used to be, but would it be fair to say they've kind of fallen off a little bit? Yeah, I mean, even with the Fantastic Beasts, and I know the Fantastic Beasts is not Harry Potter, but still trying to relive that magical world, and it's not as good as what it used to be. And I kind of feel like overextending a franchise, at a certain point, you're just spinning your wheels. And eventually, it's not as good as the earlier stuff, and then the fandom isn't as great as it used to be, and you kind of lose interest. And I think with them having a finite amount of films, I think it was a nice way to cap it off, tell a really unique story with a complete end, and have well-rounded characters with really great, fantastic, complete arcs, and great character moments that you can cherish forever. And you don't really need to feel like it's going ad nauseum and it's never going to stop. Sometimes it's nice to get off of the train every once in a while. You don't need to stay on forever and ever and ever. And I feel like sometimes wanting too much doesn't always result in a good thing. You know what I'm saying? I think you guys kind of do, man. And it was interesting because one of the things in this that I really was very shocked by is the fact that Emma Watson, she was going to leave the franchise at like film 5 or film 6. She was very conflicted in the way she felt and the stardom and how her life was really being changed, sometimes in negative ways, and she didn't know how she really felt about that going forward, and trying to have a normal life within the world of Harry Potter. And it really got to her, it really stressed her out, it consumed her. And I'm glad that she ended up seeing it through. But I get that, man. I mean, these people, you got to remember, they started as little kids, and by the time it's finished, they were almost grown adults. I mean, it's a long stretch of time, man. It truly, honestly is. And to try to go back to that years later and all the hysteria of it, that's not an easy thing to pull off, man. I don't think it's as easy as we might think it is. And honestly, look, let's be real here. If they come back for the Cursed Child, they're not just coming back for the Cursed Child, right? They're not just gonna make one film, one and done, and that's it. That's just not gonna happen, man. They're gonna come back for multiple films. They're gonna sign major contracts. And I don't think they want to go through that again, man. They have their own private lives. They have their personal relationships. I mean, hell, some of them even have kids. Rupert Grint literally has children. I'm like, Ron? What? I'm like, my God, man. It's amazing what these people have gone through in their lives since Harry Potter has ended. And to ask them to go back to it, that is asking a lot, man. And they know what this is like, right? You have to remember the fact that they started this franchise out when they were little kids, and now when they ended it, they were almost full-grown adults. They know what the media hype is like. They know the fact that they're going to be hounded by entertainment magazines and paparazzi, and it's just going to be absolutely insane again. And I don't know if they really want to go through that, and I don't know if we can really ask that of them, to be fair. I just don't think we can, dude. They know the whirlwind that it would be, and to go back to it again, I mean, I just don't think they really want to do that, dude. I mean, I was really happy with the end of the Harry Potter series. I was happy with the end of the journey with those characters and those storylines. And to ask for more, I understand that there's a certain amount of nostalgia to it, and you want to see those characters back again, and there's a warm feeling to it, but at the end of the day, it's also a little bit selfish too, isn't it? Be happy that we even got these movies in the first place, and how they were made, the expertise that went into them, whether it's the directing, the acting, the set dressing, the CGI, the costumes. I mean, everything was expertly done, and it was amazing to get done. It was absolutely phenomenal. And the quality, look, over these many films, 8 movies, you don't get this kind of quality consistently like this. It was absolutely amazing. There's no doubt about that, man. And yeah, would it be nice to have more? Yeah, sure, but sometimes you gotta be happy with what you get at the end of the day. And returning to the well, it doesn't always work out that great. Sometimes it does, but it's a gamble. And is it a gamble that you guys really want to take? I'm just happy that we got these amazing movies, and that they are going to stand the test of time. They are going to be passed down generation after generation after generation. They will be around long after I'm dead and you're dead as well. All right? And that's what truly matters. Sometimes more isn't always a good thing. Sometimes it leads to some really bad results. And trust me, I've been around enough franchises, I've watched enough movies and enough sequels to know that. Just cherish what you have. And with the Harry Potter series, there's a lot to cherish, and it ain't going away anytime soon. Reunion specials like this are really amazing and really nostalgic, but they're nostalgic for a reason, because the series is over. And continuing it just means that you don't get moments like this where you get to cherish it. And those moments are truly ones to hold dear to your heart, because sometimes franchises wear out their welcome. And the Harry Potter franchise, at least those 8 films, has never actually done that. And that is one hell of an accomplishment. Vivo the sing-along edition. Vivo the sing-along edition. Vivo, Vivo, oh Vivo. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I just couldn't help myself. Vivo, the sing-along edition, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99, the DVD for $19.99. Okay, so look, I saw this over at Walmart. I didn't even think twice about this title, okay? I was seriously like, okay, well, what the hell is this thing? I didn't even think it was a new release this week. Well, apparently I was majorly wrong. It did come out this week, okay? An animated movie I never heard of, alright? But hey, it's certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes, so that counts, right? I guess. One song can change everything. Well, that is true, man. What is this exactly? Where does this come from? Oh, Sony. Oh, Sony Animation. Oh, it's on Netflix? Oh, okay, that's interesting. It's on Netflix of all places. Okay, well, that says a lot. Yeah, it really does, man. You know, honestly, I've never even heard of it, but to be fair, honestly, I'm not really going out of my way to watch animated flicks on Netflix, though. Can you really blame me? I mean, seriously, man. It does have Lin-Manuel Miranda in it. Oh, and he even did the songs, too. Man, I gotta admit, man, Lin-Manuel Miranda, he's been killing it as of late. In The Heights, Hamilton, Encanto. Man, dude's been all over the place. Phenomenal, man. He definitely knows his shit, dude. So if he's in this, it's gotta be somewhat good, right? I mean, it's gotta be. I mean, he does spell quality after all. Just saying. I mean, he really honestly does, dude. But you know what I actually think is probably the deal with this movie is that it's probably on Netflix. It's went through algorithm hell. You can barely find the goddamn thing on Netflix without doing some sort of search where maybe it might come up after you put in a few letters down the whole rabbit hole of Netflix that is. And probably no one's barely even heard of this or barely even seen it. But I am really glad that it got a physical media edition, because honestly, you know, the more of these movies that come out on physical media that are on streaming sites, it does give me hope for the future. I mean, I'm not saying that everything is going to get a physical media release, even though I kind of wish it would, but it is a good sign, man, and hopefully maybe more people will find this. I mean, honestly, unless you're looking for it, unless your kids are looking for it, they're probably not going to find this damn thing. And that's really the unfortunate thing about it. You know, when you think of animated movies and everything, you're thinking of the Disneys, you're thinking of Pixar, DreamWorks, everything like that. And sometimes there's some really good animated movies out there that slip through the cracks that end up going on Netflix or some streaming site where, unfortunately, I hate to admit it, but it just gets buried, like big time, and you never really find it. And unless there's a physical copy that comes out at some point, that's really your only savior. So in fact, I'm kind of happy that this got a release. I don't really know anything about it. I've never seen the damn thing. The animation looks interesting, but again, with Lin-Manuel Miranda, the songs at least have to be really good. So at the end of the day, I mean, it may not be great, it may be wonderful, but the fact that it's finally got a physical release, that actually is worth it, because again, as much as I like streaming, there's a lot of movies and a lot of TV out there that unfortunately get buried like a motherfucker on streaming, like big time. They really honestly does. And unless there's actually a physical copy that you can find out there, sometimes you never even notice these things. So at least now, this can actually get a little bit of a notice. Hopefully it's good. Not sure I'll ever find out, but hey, at least you have a chance to finally do it without going through streaming hell. And that is never a bad thing.
Manly men, manly, manly men, manly men, manly, manly men. This is not 2.5 men. Shit, not even fucking close, man. Jesus Christ. Man, if Charlie Sheen was in this, man, it'd be even more fucking creepy. Man, the Blu-ray DVD digital for $24.99. Oh my god. Man, one messed up flick. Jeez. You know, sometimes I don't need to know what comes out of assholes. So I really don't. God. I am never going to see assholes the same ever again. God damn it. Jesus Christ, dude. Look, I gotta talk about Alex Garland, man. I really honestly gotta do it because, you know, it's very interesting because he's part of a new breed of horror filmmaker. He's very much an auteur. You can see the influences, you can see the horror that he really loves. Certain things out there like sci-fi, mystery, fantasy mixed with the horror elements. You can tell even through this film that he definitely pays attention to a lot of folk horror and a lot of stuff out there that has really influenced him in the past. Even something like, I would say, Wicker Man is something that's a huge influence on this film as well. Even maybe something like A Rosemary's Baby as well. I'd probably put that in there as a big influence for him. But he's somebody that really is a student of horror and an auteur of it, and he's definitely one of many filmmakers like Robert Eggers, who, dude, that guy really gets my respect. The Vitch is really fucking amazing. Dude, The Lighthouse, okay? I never thought that I would be intrigued by Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe being stuck in a lighthouse together going batshit nuts and insane. But dude, it was fucking awesome. It was really great, man. I mean, look at Ari Aster. I mean, Hereditary and Midsummer. Man, he is a really fantastic and amazing auteur of a filmmaker and really has taken horror into new and interesting elements that you never thought was possible, man. He really took the old school folk horror and twisted it on its head. He's done an amazing job, man. You look at somebody like Oz Perkins, who, if you've ever seen The Black Coat's Daughter, amazing stuff, man. He's a really great up-and-coming filmmaker as well. I mean, you have the auteurs out there, but you also have the people like Jordan Peele, who is more commercial, James Wan, who has definitely brought horror into a new age and has done some really amazing work that will stand the test of time. I mean, you look at even someone like Karen Kusama, who did a really great job on Jennifer's Body. Also, The Invitation, which is an amazing horror flick, man. Great mystery. Love that film incredibly. It's such an amazing flick. I mean, there is a lot of really great filmmakers out there. Not every new filmmaker hits it out of the park and tries to change horror. It's not easy. I mean, you look at someone like a Rob Zombie, okay? He's seen better days. All right. Yeah, something like that. I mean, yeah, it's not always perfect, man, but look, horror needs to evolve, horror needs to change and morph, and look, there's nothing wrong with holding on to the old school filmmakers and the old school classics. You look at Wes Craven and Tobe Hooper and Sean Cunningham. I mean, amazing people. John Carpenter. I mean, come on, man. Amazing, amazing filmmakers who did amazing work. And those movies that they did will always be cherished, but you do need to bring in new blood. You do need to bring in new creativity. People that can spin the genre into some new and fascinating ways that really challenge you as a horror lover and as a horror fan. And a lot of these people are really going out of their way to do that. Some succeed more than others, but
I like what we're getting nowadays. I like the variety of horror that we're seeing from so many of these filmmakers that has really taken some of the same old tropes that we've seen, we've loved, and sometimes that we've been disappointed by, and switched them up in some really clever and creative ways. And honestly, Alex Garland is truly one of those voices. He's made some amazing movies, Ex Machina, Annihilation. But I don't know if I can truly say Men is one of them. I mean, it has moments where you truly feel like he's taken these really interesting ideas from the past and has some interesting things to say, but I don't think this movie really accomplishes it the way he was hoping for. There's some interesting messaging, there's some interesting acting moments, some really great creepiness and atmosphere that really gives the movie a little bit of extra lift to it. But unfortunately, the plot kind of lets him down. It's not really as good as he was hoping for, and I kind of feel like it doesn't really gel at the end of the day. Some really disturbing moments, but nothing really solid where you feel like this is going to be a classic, this is going to stick with you. There's a lot of times with the movie that it's just kind of boring and mundane, and you're just really waiting for shit to happen. And sometimes that anticipation is really great, and then other times it just feels like, God, man, when are we gonna get to the shit already? You're kind of trying to check your watch or something. And this is one of those times. Look, I give him a hell of a lot of credit for trying. Folk horror is not easy to do. Spinning it into unique ways is not easy to accomplish. Ari Aster proved you can do it successfully, but not everybody can. And look, I think Ex Machina is awesome. I think Annihilation is fantastic. I love the sci-fi horror aspects to that and the possibilities of that. And it's nice to see him sort of branching out and doing other things, but I'd like to see him get back to what he really knows and what he really loves. To do a movie where you're basically surrounding the movie towards this symbolism of this statue that you love can be intriguing, but the way he ended up sort of making the story around it just didn't quite fit. An interesting try, an interesting effort, but a failed one at the end of the day, or at least I think it is. Again, the disturbing moments are disturbing, okay? Let's be real. Once you see that asshole scene, there ain't no going back, brother. Alright, there really isn't. But that being said, it's one of the only things it's got. And honestly, did I really need to see an asshole gaping that much? Yeah, probably not. Probably not indeed, man. But shit, I got it anyways. Look, I think Alex Garland is still an amazing filmmaker regardless. Even though this is a failed attempt, it's a unique and fascinating failed attempt. And I mean, come on, even a failed attempt from this guy is a hell of a lot better than a Rob Zombie success. Just saying, okay? Auteurs are never going to always hit it out of the park. Ari Aster isn't always going to do it. Alex Garland isn't always going to do it. James Wan isn't always going to do it. Jordan Peele isn't always going to do it. All these people are not always going to do it. But then again, the classic filmmakers didn't always do it either. Alfred Hitchcock didn't always hit it out of the park, man. John F. Cunningham didn't always do it. Wes Craven didn't always do it. But you always were hopeful for the next one. And with him, I'm still hopeful for the next one. And I think the next one is going to hit it out of the park. Because, hey, not every director has a 100% success rate. We kind of wish they did, but at the end of the day, they don't. Hey, man, failed attempts are still interesting regardless. And this one, yeah, is all kinds of interesting. Nature is precious. Nature's astounding. And in 4K, it's goddamn gorgeous. Oh, indeed it is. And BBC, The Green Planet, the 4K Blu-ray for $34.99, breathing life into our world, one 4K pixel at a time. oh man, dude. Wow, yet another one of these came out, huh? Nice. Now, you know what? I'm not a big nature documentary guy. Yeah, I've seen one or two here and there over my time on this earth. I've seen a a little bit. But honestly, the reason why these are as great as they are is because the 4K quality. Let me tell you something, man. If you ever want a display of how great 4K can be, you get a nature documentary. Dead serious, man, because the nature documentaries on a 4K TV shine like nobody's business, man. I mean, that's why sometimes when I go into like a Best Buy or something and I see like the TV screens, sometimes I see them putting on like nature documentaries because they are so beautiful to look at and they showcase the 4K in such a gorgeous and beautiful way that it's hard to resist it. It really is phenomenal, man. These 4K nature documentaries are absolutely pristine, amazing. They truly are, man. So just for that alone, they're worth it, but also, nature is beautiful and nature is definitely important. So, it is something that documentarians, historians, nature lovers, they do tend to dig these a time or two, and I can't quite say I blame them, man. And on top of that, narrated by David Attenborough. Dude, David Attenborough is a goddamn legend, man. I don't know whether you've ever seen any of the stuff that he's done for some of these documentaries or heard some of the stories. This dude has been in some crazy and wild situations, and at his age, the fact that he's still doing this stuff, the fact that he's still willing to go out there and brave the elements and interact with some amazing animals and creatures out there, dude, I only wish that when I'm this guy's age, I'll be half as bold and half as brave as he is. He is amazing and an absolute legend in every aspect, man. The guy has my respect forever. He truly does, man. I mean, look, just the images alone are beautiful and gorgeous. On a 4K TV, man, this is going to shine like a motherfucker. It really honestly is, man. If you ever want a disc that is absolutely showcasing what the possibilities of 4K is, yeah, you could do some movies like a Doctor Strange or the Avengers, and that's perfectly fine. It showcases it. But nature documentaries, man. Nature documentaries is where this shit is at, man. So damn good. It's hard to resist. Psst. Hey. Yeah. You. Want to see a sex tape? Oh, damn do I. With Pam and Tommy. The DVD for $14.99. The greatest love story ever sold. You're damn right it is. Oh, baby. Oh my God. It has to be seen to be believed. That's for damn sure, man. Oh, Lord. Season 1. Well, I'm hoping there's not a lot more seasons because I don't know how long they can stretch this shit for. But maybe forever. I highly doubt we're getting another season of this, but hey, you never know, man. But I had to check this out. I really honestly had to, because I was around. I mean, I was young, but I was around when this was going on, man. The controversy of the Pamela Anderson, Tommy Lee sex tape, all of the tabloids, the headlines. It was crazy, all the shit that was going on at that point, man. I mean, as young as I was, I still vividly remembered it because it was such a phenomenon that even when you were a little kid, you couldn't really even escape it, man. It's kind of nuts to even think about that, but it really is the truth. And you know about the infamous tape, right? You know about all the controversy and everything, but what about everything else? What about all the stuff that went into it and all of the behind the scenes drama that you never actually got to experience yourself? Well, Hulu's got your back, baby. Oh, indeed they do, man. Look, this is 8 episodes of juicy Hollywood goodness, man. It truly, honestly is, man. God, the drama is thick in this sumbitch. It really, honestly is. And thank the Lord that they decided to do this because I was intrigued like a motherfucker. I seriously, honestly was, man. And, when I pressed play on the first episode, I didn't really know what I was expecting, to be honest with you. I didn't know whether this was kind of like, documentary-ish. I didn't know whether they were just doing this as like a full-on adaptation story of the drama, which it actually is. And, you know, after watching all 8 episodes and diving into all of the controversies and all the behind-the-scenes nuggets that you get to find out here, I am intrigued as hell by this story, and I actually really got to applaud them. The actors, the filmmakers, everybody involved in this, the writers, you name it, for crafting such a very intriguing and fascinating story around a infamous sex tape. I mean, seriously. I mean, you would think this thing would be a parody, but they don't go for parody. It would be very easy to do that with this, but they decide not to. Now, it's not that there isn't any funny moments in here, because there absolutely is, but it's all based around the circumstances with the characters and what they have to go through and the comedy behind that. I think it's absolutely brilliant, man. I mean, the drama is thick, the characters are very rich, they're not one note, and I really love how they frame the dilemmas within each character. It's not black and white. And I think it would be very easy to do that. It would be very easy to look at Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson and say, well, these are just rich know-it-alls and Hollywood elites, and they think they're better than everybody else, and take them down a peg or two. And there is a little bit of that, only because that's what certain characters see. But there is more behind these people than meets the eye. And that's something that I really greatly appreciated. I mean, seriously, I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. And I gotta give the actors immense credit here, especially Sebastian Stan and Lily James, Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson. Dude, they hit it out of the fucking park as far as acting here, man. And it was weird because this was like a year ago, maybe more. They were talking about the series, and I saw an article on the internet, and they had a picture. And I thought it was actually just a picture of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. That's what I actually initially thought. I'm like, oh, okay. They're just showing a picture of them to promote the Pam and Tommy Hulu series. And then I looked even closer. I'm like, no, that's Sebastian Stan and Lily James. I'm like, holy shit. Man, they are dead ringers for them. And, I mean, yes, obviously you can't quite get the facial structure and, you know, the exact body type 110% of the time, but man, like the nuances and how they dress and the tattoos and the makeup and what they're able to do with the characters, they literally are inhabiting versions of those real life people. And man, they are spot on with that shit. It is amazing, the transformation that both of them go through, man. It is phenomenal. And let's not forget Seth Rogen here. I mean, he's playing a guy that nobody really knows within the context of the story, but he's a real life person who actually stole the sex tape. And he's playing him a little bit like a goofball, but there's reasons why he's doing it. And yes, the comedy comes through a lot more with Seth Rogen than anybody else, but that's sort of Seth Rogen's speciality. He still does the drama well, but again, he's not even playing this thing for shits and giggles and just intentional laughs. He's actually making a fully formed character here that makes a devastating decision that at first benefits him, but then absolutely ruins his life at every fucking corner, man. I mean, whether it's people that are turning on him, mob people that are coming after immense amounts of money, partners who skip town and won't even contact the dude anymore. I mean, good lord, man. He is literally just in just the worst sort of trouble that you can possibly imagine, man. And you never really think about the idea of, well, a sex tape is just a sex tape, and the only people that will be affected by this are Pam and Tommy, but everybody is involved with this, man, because this guy, he ended up stealing the tape But then at the end of the day, what do you do with the fucking tape? I mean, once you see what's on it, there's no turning back. I mean, yeah, you could give it back to them, but you're going to jail. So what do? Well, you profit from the motherfucking thing. You get, heavy hitters, money people involved, but of course they're taking a certain amount of percentage. You have to create the videotapes, the manufacturing, sending out the tapes. Then everybody is making bootlegs to sell the shit illegally and making money off of the shit that you were supposed to make money off of. And then, of course, let's not forget that this is the early, and I mean early AOL internet days, man, where people are now streaming the shit for free. So it's like, at first you do it out of revenge, right? At first you do it out of a sense of, I want to get back at these people for screwing me over. But then it's just a shitstorm that happens from there, man. And the story is so absolutely intriguing and fascinating that I just binged this in like a fucking day, man. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I just in one day, all 8 episodes, man. I just went from one to the next, to the next, to the next, and I just couldn't stop. I was so intrigued by what was going on and the drama with these characters and the fact that this shit happened. Like, you only know a mere fraction of the story, and this opened up so many possibilities of where it all could have led and where it did. It's amazing, man. It's fucking amazing. And I just really dug this so much, dude. I mean, seriously, the way they framed it, and on top of that, it's interesting because it gives different context to Pam and Tommy. And look, when you go back to the old days, you look at Pam and Tommy and you say, oh my God, these pretty people getting together, having sex, filming themselves. Oh, these Hollywood douchebags and schmucks. That's what you think about. But, there's a line in the show which I really liked, where Tommy Lee is talking to Seth Rogen's character, Rand, and, Rand is saying, you're a really bad person. And Tommy's like, yeah, I am. You're right. But what about her? Did she deserve this? She's an angel. She's a really wonderful person. And you screwed her over. There's no going back anymore. And that really is the truth. And there's one whole episode of the show that is devoted to Pamela Anderson and her journey into becoming the Hollywood starlet, the sex symbol that she became, man. And it wasn't as easy as you might think. People were using her and abusing her and basically exploiting her for her sexuality and her imagery, and the idea that, yes, she made money off of it, yes, she made profit and bank off of it and became a star because of it, but that doesn't mean that it was any less hard. It was just as difficult. This wasn't an easy road for her whatsoever. And I really love diving into these characters. And at the end of the day, after watching this, do I feel bad for them ultimately that the sex tape got out there? Part of me, yes, and another part of me, no. Because, these are celebrities, right? You are in the spotlight. People love you and adore you, and paparazzi is all up your fucking ass, man. And at a certain point, you gotta know what your limits are, man. You gotta know the fact that you can't put this out there into the world, man. I mean, somebody is going to get pissed off at you. Somebody is going to be out for revenge, and your personal life is going to be out there for the world to see, man. And this happened. At the same time, look, they're just human beings. They're just, just like you and me, just more heightened within reality. And their private life is their private life. And, yeah, it's intriguing to see the tape, but honestly, they're just trying to live their lives like you and I. So there's two sides of the argument. There's two sides of the story. And I just don't know exactly which one is the right one. I guess it depends on your mileage of these people and what you ultimately think of it, man. I mean, you're not wrong if you think that they deserve this. but you're also not wrong if you think that they didn't deserve it either. It's a bit of a mixed bag at the end of the day. It really honestly is, man. But I just really dug this story. I dug the acting. I really dug just finding out more of the drama, but behind the scenes goodness of what happened here, man. Because again, it was such a whirlwind of a phenomenon that happened with this tape. And you know, you only find out a little piece of the story, but there's just so much more intrigue added onto it. And it's amazing to think about what went down. It really honestly is, man. I mean, it really is too good to be true. And I mean, you also have to understand this, right? You also have to understand the idea that this is, at the end of the day, a TV show, right? It is made for TV. It is a story that is larger than life, and we don't know all of the juicy details. We don't know all of the juicy bits. Not everything is probably told here, and there is probably some stuff that is fabricated like a motherfucker, okay? Probably is, just to be honest with you, man. But for the most part, man, this story has got to be, at least in some ballpark, 90% true. It has to be. And if you did your research, and I did, after watching this, I went and I looked on the internet and looked up Seth Rogen's character of Rand. I looked up a lot of these people, and I'm like, wow, these people exist. This was a real thing, man. And it's just wild to think that most of the stuff from this actually fucking happened, man. You just can't make this shit up, dude. You really honestly can't do it, man. I mean, there is never going to be anything like this ever again. Yeah, there was that whole like Paris Hilton sex tape thing, which kind of gotten maybe a little bit close to it, but nowhere near the infamy of this tape, man. Nowhere near it. And it just is one of those circumstances that you're only ever going to see one time because of the early internet days and the fandom and the idea of the access of the tape and how private it was, and you know, the days of VHS and how the internet was just really starting to come into its own, and it was just a wild west of access, and you're just never going to see those anymore. You're just not. And I'm glad that this story was told. I mean, you don't want, as a celebrity or even just a human being, you don't want your privacy to be out there in the world because, you know, it is kind of embarrassing. Let's be real, man. It really is. I mean, you know, your tits, your ass, you know, your dong. I mean, come on, man. It is embarrassing, dude. But it's intriguing because of what went down. And you know, at the end of the day, I do have respect for Pam. I do have respect for Tommy. Do I think they had love? Do I think that them being together was ultimately like unrequited love? No, I think it was lust at the end of the day. I mean, there's moments in this show where they got hooked up and married so fast, and then they're on a plane and they're having awkward conversations of what's your favorite movie, or awkward conversations about their family after they got married. And I mean, it was a guy that liked a girl that liked a guy, and the whirlwind romance of it all, and how one mistake changed their lives forever. And it's a phenomenal story, magnificently told. And for me, it's one of those too good to be true stories that has to be seen to be believed, man. I mean, honestly, make a night of it. Watch the sex tape and then watch Pam and Tommy, baby. Man, what a double feature that'd be, huh? Man, but this was a wild story that I'm so glad got put on some sort of media, streaming, you name it, because man, these stories deserve to be told. Wild and crazy as they are, man, they absolutely do, dude. I'm so glad that I used my girlfriend's Hulu account. I'm not ashamed of it. Lord knows she watches enough Harry Potter to save her fucking life. I could use her goddamn Hulu account too, damn it. Indeed I can. And it's just great to see a physical media copy of this, right? Because it was only on streaming, and now to have a physical copy of it is just really great for collectors out there and fans of physical media. That means they just don't have to rely on streaming. They can actually buy the thing and have it in their collection. And what a great story this is to definitely hold and just to dive into multiple times, man. Because damn, man, that's some crazy shit. and it deserves to be told. And it definitely does. Wow. Not a bad physical media release week here at Target. Not bad at all, with a few surprises sprinkled in. Pretty damn solid overall. What's actually shocking to me, guys, is the fact that there is no Target exclusive for Sonic. Of all weeks to not do an exclusive, they decide this one for Sonic? That's crazy. This is a very big movie. People really dig it. Tons of fans, and they don't do an exclusive. Man, they are definitely missing out, man. At least in my opinion, they are. But hey, look, beggars can't be choosers. We got all the physical media Sonic goodness, plus some other releases as well. And that definitely can't be beat. Target definitely delivered, mostly, and I'm damn glad for it. Not bad. Let's head out. Not too shabby, Target. Not too shabby at all. You can best believe that one, man. Hey, look, this is a rarity, all right? I don't get to say this very often, so when I do, I gotta kind of cherish it just a wee bit. The fact that the first Walmart actually beat Target. Man, I guess it is true. I really am living in the Twilight Zone. Shit, man, seriously. Holy cow, man, that's strange. I mean, look, they still had a lot of physical media love. They had the big new release. They had a couple of titles here and a couple of titles there. You know, some good surprises overall, not bad. I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't have an exclusive for Sonic, considering it's a big release title. Exclusives for Walmart. I know there's one for Best Buy. You'd figured they would have had one for that, but I guess it wasn't exclusive worthy. Beats me, man. I don't know how they pick one exclusive over the other, but apparently they do. Hey, their choice, not mine, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, hey, they still had the physical media goodness. Maybe not all of it. I wasn't expecting all of it, but maybe a little bit of 4K upgrade love, maybe. Maybe I was getting my hopes up too much. Look, Target always delivers regardless, even if it isn't all the physical media goodness I want. Hey, beggars can't be choosers, and something is better than nothing. We can definitely agree on that. Not half bad, Target. Could have been a wee bit better, but you've treated me so well for so long that maybe I was just expecting too much out of you. My bad. My bad indeed, man. But hey, they still have the physical media goodness. It definitely makes me a very happy physical media boy, and I know it does for you as well. That's for damn sure. Well, physical media is pretty much represented here, but how about everywhere else? How about we go and find out?
All right, everybody. We are at our third location, the second Walmart. What will we see? What kind of indie titles may we have? Hopefully there's something. If there is, I will bring it back to Film Fan 108 HQ and show it off to each and every one of you. But before I do that, I gotta talk about a trailer with you guys. And oh my god, I have been waiting since the end credits to experience the next movie in the X saga. Oh yes, with Pearl. Oh, Pearl. Some women, man, they will do anything to be a star. Even kill. Oh, you don't say, do ya? Man, let me tell you something. So me, John, Bob, Van, we were in the movie theater watching X, and, you know, we really loved it. It felt like a really great throwback to 70s grindhouse, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It wasn't perfect, but, you know, for the most part, it really floated my boat, and all the guys' boat as well, all right? And I had heard a rumor, well, there's something, I think, at the end credits, but I don't really know what it is exactly. Maybe it's like a little bit of, just a little bit of a tie-in for something. Whatever, who knows. And to get a teaser trailer for an actual upcoming movie that's technically a prequel, that's kind of weird to me, man. That's odd. I was not expecting that shit whatsoever. And I was like, whoa, what is this? Is this real? Is this an actual thing? Like, seriously? This is coming out? And yeah, crazy enough, like, it's wild to think that Ty West literally gambled on this story of saying, okay, we're going to put out this movie X, these old people killing these, 70s up-and-coming porn, people, and we're going to also do a prequel about the old people as well. And I'm thinking, like, man, you must have had balls to walk into the A24 offices and said, yeah, just give us the money for both movies, man. I'm like, dude, there was no guarantee that X was going to be nearly as good as what people thought it was, or really make a kind of impact that they were hoping. But it did, and well, honestly, here we are, man. I gotta be honest, it looks great, okay? And as somebody who loved X, I am really interested in where the story for Pearl is gonna go, man. I mean, the trailer pretty much spells most of it out. The idea that this girl who wants to be a starlet, wants to be a movie star, really will do anything. She's in this humdrum, small town, farm life. She hates it. She wants to get away from it. She is literally being held down as far as she's concerned. And every time, in every way she tries to get out, she just can't escape. And the only way to escape is to kill. Oh, man. Dude, it looks great, man. It looks just very, pulpy, serialized, over-the-top ridiculousness, and I think that Ty West has this locked down like a motherfucker. Just the idea of this woman slowly going psychotic and losing her mind and killing people more and more the closer she sees that her dreams might come to a reality. Like, I love that, man. I really do. And I love the style of the trailer. I love the old school sort of, I think it's like 1920s, 1930s, 40s, somewhere around there. I love that idea behind it with the clothing and the old-timey music, and I just love him taking that idea and putting it into a pulpy, serialized horror flick. That looks really cool to me, man. It looks fucking awesome. It looks killer. It looks absolutely wicked. Some really great kills. And a great performance by Mia Goth, man. Mia Goth really surprised me in X. I mean, I thought she did a great job with dual roles. I mean, playing that young 70s chick that really, wants to be a star, but at the same time playing the old lady, which I didn't even know for the longest time. Playing the old woman who is remembering the old days and, wants to still be a star and wants to be sexy again, but can't be, and hates everyone that is, and wants to kill them. Like, I love that shit, and she did it brilliantly, man. And to take that character and now make her younger and really make a meal out of it and really give her this great backstory of a character, it makes X even more rich of a story. And that's what I love, man. I love taking these characters that you just think are very simple old killers and spinning it into something more bizarre and twisted. I love it, man. I fucking love it. I think it's brilliant. I can't say that I love all prequels, and I can't say that all prequels are really great, but this is a really great opportunity to take characters that were not well fleshed out in the first movie, but we now understand why. There was reasons behind it because he was saving all the juicy stuff for this film, for a prequel, to show all the juicy bits of Pearl's life. Oh, and all the horror that comes with it. Oh, man, it looks really great. It looks really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. And at the end of the day, for me, man, this looks like a really great killer time. No pun intended. No pun intended indeed, man. But it looks great. It looks awesome. And, you know, Ty West has my confidence. I loved X, and this looks equally as good to me. So I'm on board. I really am. It looks great. And the guys, we're all going, man. We literally are. I talked to John, Van, Bob. We're all going to see Pearl because we just need to. It just looks so fucking good. We can't help ourselves, man. It looks great, dude. It honestly looks fucking amazing and awesome. Let me know what you guys think about that. Look, X really surprised me. And to go back and tell a backstory like this, where I'm interested in the characters and the surprises, that rarely happens. But this is an exception. And I can't wait to see what the results are. What do you think? Definitely let me know. But in the meantime, well, will Walmart have physical media goodness? They have for a long while. But can the streak continue? Well, how about we go in? Check it out. All right, everybody. We are in at the good old second Walmart. And I have to admit, it hasn't been half bad for physical media love this week. I mean, Walmart, dude, they blew us away. Seriously, I was not expecting that shit. Okay, Target wasn't half bad, so here I'm thinking, okay, we are at the second Walmart here. What about the indie weirdness? What about the bizarro love? Come on, we've got to have it, right? We've seen some decent stuff so far. The weirdness, oh, we've got to have. And I hate to admit it, but this week, sadly, we ain't got shit. I mean, I'm dead serious, man. Nothing. No how, no way. I mean, I thought we'd see something, but actually not much at all, which really friggin' sucks, man. It's like Sonic and a couple of sprinklings of a little bit of here and a little bit there, and then not much else. Yeah, sad to say, but totally the truth. Man, I mean, to be fair, we've had it pretty good with the indie love as of late. We've had a string of really great weeks of awesome indie weirdness. So, okay, maybe we don't have it for 1 week. Alright, it kind of sucks, but it's a nice little break. Maybe it'll come back in a big bad way next week. Let's hope. But in the meantime, well, I guess we just have to settle with no indie love this week. Shame, but, well, we'll just have to deal with it for the time being. Better luck next time. Let's hope. But, well, how about we go and search for more physical media? Because apparently second Walmart, yeah, they don't got jack shit. All right, everybody, we are in at our fourth and final location, and when it comes to a bounce back in physical media love, well, of course you have to turn to a bookstore of all places, right? Well, let's hope. When we head into none other than Barnes and Nobles, baby. Yes, we are back yet again, man, and it's been an interesting week for physical media. Some stores have really been killing it, while other ones, I'm looking at you, second Walmart, had jack shit. So, what does that mean for Barnes & Nobles? Can we have a bounce back? Can we have some good physical media love again? Well, I'm hoping for a few things. I mean, considering we have one huge release this week and some smaller ones, why wouldn't they have stuff? Well, how about we go in and hopefully see some physical media goodness? All right, everybody. We are in a good old B&N, baby. And the physical media is definitely flowing this week. Walmart, Target, not half bad. But what about Barnes & Nobles? Are they going to keep pace? Well, honestly, no. I am so serious, man. Look. All in this area, look, there is none of the new releases whatsoever. No Sonic, no Crimes of the Future, no Men, you name it. There is nothing new over in this section whatsoever. I looked over here, right in this area, there is nothing as far as new releases. They don't have any of the new stuff whatsoever. I looked through it all. They have none of the new stuff. I looked over in this section here. None of the new stuff whatsoever. I was looking. Nothing new over here. Nothing as far as new release love over on this side. Hell, even over on this end here. Got some great titles. No new release love whatsoever. Zippo, zilch, nothing, nada. Over here in the DVD section over here, nothing. I tried looking for Sonic, for Men, for Crimes of the Future. Nothing whatsoever. They don't have anything. Literally, the DVD section over there,
nothing new at all. They have nothing whatsoever as far as new releases this week. This is wild. Usually they have something. They do not have anything, man. That is crazy. Man, they pulled a Walmart this week. Holy shit, they really did, man. I mean, it's not the craziest, wildest, most bonanza physical media week of all time, but there's some really solid releases overall. And Barnes & Noble isn't carrying jack shit of any of them. Damn, dude. I mean, eesh. They carried a lot of stuff in the past, some weird shit. Hell, they've carried Cinderella, for Christ's sake. They can't carry Sonic? I mean, come on, man. Alright, yeah, you carry Firestarter and Morbius, but you can't carry Sonic? Alright, jeez, what a disappointment this week, but I guess Barnes & Noble was bound to disappoint us eventually, and here we are. Man, what a frickin' bummer. Yep, bummer is pretty much the word that I'd use. Holy cow, man. I'm fucking shocked. I seriously am, man. I knew coming in here, look, when you come into Barnes & Nobles, you gotta realize that, they're not like, the biggest major retailer like a Walmart or a Target is or something like that, Best Buy, you name it, right? Especially when it comes to physical media. But at the same time, yeah, they still have a decent amount of it, and usually for the most part they try to keep pace, at least with some of the bigger releases. And this week at least have Sonic, at least have some of the bigger stuff out there. A24, they carry A24, everything everywhere all at once, they carry it. But this week has literally nothing. I don't know whether they didn't get their truck or stock in, or whether they just decided, oh fuck, Sonic is for the kids. Barnes & Noble is more high-end adult. Yeah, about that. Sure. Oh man. Okay. Yeah, I am in disbelief here. I don't even know what to say, man. Damn, I thought I'd see something here, but yeah. And since the good old Criterion sale is not happening now, well, it's not even worth even looking over in that section, especially when nothing new's come out. So, yes, major disappointment vibes here at Barnes & Noble's. I knew one of these days it was going to happen, and I didn't think it was going to be this week, but yet here we are. Let's hope they have a bounce back next week. I'd like to see it. Lord knows if we're going to, but it's got to be better than this week, right? Let's hope. Well, it's enough for the physical media goodness. Not that there was any to begin with, but hey, at least we tried. How about we head home and finish the video?
Alright, everybody. That'll do it for the Blu-ray and DVD. Out and about video this week, and damn, man. Ain't that a bitch? Oh, shit. Okay, look. To be fair, it didn't start out bad, right? I mean, Walmart was killing it. Target had a decent amount of media to show off. Some really cool stuff we hadn't seen at Walmart. And so I was like thinking to myself, okay, man, we had some really great stuff. The first two places. And then suddenly, second Walmart was like, yeah, we ain't got jack shit. And even Barnes & Nobles was like, yeah, you were hoping for physical media, right? Yeah, about that. Oh my god, man. I mean, shit. It went downhill fast, man. And unfortunately, that happens at times with these retail stores. It really honestly does. Some moments, it's feast. And others, it's famine. And we kind of had a bit of both this week, to be honest with you. And yes, do I miss Best Buy like a motherfucker? Yes, I really honestly do, man. I would have loved to have seen the Sonic Steelbook. I would have loved to have seen Heat on 4K, Doom on 4K. I would have loved to have seen that. I was hoping maybe we would have gotten that at Target, but man, I was hoping too much, man. Apparently, they didn't carry everything I was hoping for, but that's retail stores for you. And even this, okay, truth be told, I did go to a Best Buy this week. So, I told you guys that my Best Buy right now is currently closed. They're doing
all kinds of renovations. I mean, they still are doing like curbside pickup, but for the most part, it's a little bit of stuff here, a little bit of stuff there. It's not like a major amount of stuff. Right now, it's like construction galore that they're dealing with. So there's a Best Buy that's an hour away from me. Okay. I went there. I decided, hey, let me go and see if I can maybe check out some of this other stuff. Wasn't planning to film, but I was like, hey, maybe they'll have the Sonic Steelbook. Maybe they'll have a couple things that I was looking for. And it said on the website that they had copies of the Sonic 2 Steelbook. So here I'm going to that Best Buy. I'm driving there. And when I get there, not only is the Sonic 2 Steelbook not there, okay? Not there no more, all gone. There was no Heat 4K, and there was one copy of the Doom 4K, and I was thinking about picking it up until I actually looked at the slipcover, and the slipcover is so fucking torn and tattered. I was like, what the fuck? Like, seriously. And they barely had any other physical media whatsoever. They didn't have Men. They didn't have Crimes of the Future. They had only like a couple copies left of like the Blu-ray of Sonic. That was it. And so I'm like, oh my god, man. I was kind of pissed. Because I know some of you guys are like, hey, go to another Best Buy while your other Best Buy is under construction. And I get the argument. I really honestly do. But you have to understand that the Best Buy that's closest to me is an hour away. Okay? That's 1 hour to and 1 hour back. So 2 hours back and forth going to a Best Buy. And if there's nothing there worth for me to get, then it's complete bust for me to go. And this week was that day where I went thinking maybe I was going to pick up a couple things that I was really hoping to get, and they had jack shit. And what they did have wasn't really worth the damn anyways. And so I literally went 2 hours out of my way to go to a Best Buy that didn't have anything, and I walked out with nothing. Yeah, I can't do that. I mean, especially when the way gas prices are, and trying to, you know, figure out money-wise, how do you pay for this, how do you pay for that, and going out of your way and not getting anything, that's a real bummer, dude. So, I don't know. For me, this week was a real struggle. And it just goes to show you that retail stores, man, unless you are a big name title and a big name studio that are putting out these releases, a very popular in-demand steelbook, or a collector's edition re-release, whatever it is, you're not going to get in these stores, man. I mean, other than Walmart that brings out the oddities every once in a while, but that's just all kind of random at the end of the day. They get in this thing, they get in that thing. There's no rhyme or reason to it. And it's very tough to really get in these retail places anymore. And even on the steelbook front, right? Because I really wanted that Sonic 2 steelbook. Wasn't able to get it. And right now on the website, you can't even order it to have it shipped to you. Because right now it's just unavailable, of course. Pretty much that means that it's probably going out of print faster anyways, because when that happens, usually if you can't order it for online shipping, it just means that they have the allotment of what they had for the online and the stores. Since the online is done, whatever there at the stores is there at the stores, and if you don't get it, well, you're shit out of luck. Man, that blows, okay? That really fucking blows. And what pisses me off even more guys, okay? Even more is the fact that I just decided to go on eBay just to look, to see, you know, if people are selling this top Sonic 2 Steelbook. And of course they are. And, man, this got me. Because there's one person on eBay. And they have a picture of it. So if you put in Sonic 2 Steelbook, somebody has a picture, a huge stack of Sonic 2 Steelbooks. It's like 4, 5, 6 Steelbooks of Sonic 2. And they're selling each of them for like 60 some odd dollars. And I looked at that image. And I was like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Seriously. You ordered or bought all those Steelbooks just to resell them. This is why I hate the collecting community as much as I do at times. There's a lot of times where I love the collecting community. It's absolutely amazing, and it's, you know, sometimes it really is a wonderful experience to be a part of. But then there's moments like this, where I literally sit there and I want to choke a motherfucker like you would not believe. I want to literally see the life draining from the dude's eyes. And the reason why I want to do that is because, dude, you have literally fucked over other people that wanted it just so your greedy ass can get some extra money. That really pisses me off like a motherfucker, man. It really does. Because these so-called collectors, and they're not really even collectors, guys. These so-called collectors go out of their way to buy all these editions, all this amount of exclusives, just so they could turn around and sell it for more money. They are a disease. They are pricks to the highest order. And I do not care for these people whatsoever, man. They are scalpers to the nth degree. And I hate it. I really honestly do, man. And nowadays, it really is true. And it is absolutely 100% true. There's no guarantee these things are going to be in the stores. There is no guarantee that these are going to be in a retail outlet. There really isn't anymore, guys. I mean, as much as physical media is seeing a rebound in certain instances, at other moments, I'm seeing the retail stores and I'm like, well, they're not carrying as much as they used to. On top of that, you have all these other so-called collectors that are out there eating up all of the inventory so they can resell it to you at higher prices. So now, what you have to do, your due diligence, is once these releases are announced, once the pre-orders are up, order it. And I'm dead serious, man. Look, I am all for going into a store and buying a physical copy. I am 100% into it. I love it, man. I dig it. And I still do it. But even I'm recognizing that nowadays, you have to pre-order your shit and pre-order it fast. And I don't care whether it's from Best Buy or Walmart or Target, or you're going on Diabolic DVD, Orbit, whether it's Shout Factory's website, Vinegar Syndrome, Severin, I don't care, man. You have to pre-order your shit. You have to do it because that's the only way that you are guaranteed an actual fucking copy, man. And I'm dead serious about this. That's the only way that you are guaranteed it, because if not, you're just simply not going to get it, man. And it really pains me to say that, because I want to go into a store and I want to actually, you know, see the actual item and be able to get it directly from the store itself. But there is no guarantees on that anymore, guys. Those guarantees are over. They're done. Back in the day, hell, even when I started doing the out and abouts, I would see so many copies of certain steelbooks and so many copies of the new releases. Huge amount of them. You don't see that nowadays, guys. Unless it's the hugest fucking title in the world, like a Spider-Man No Way Home or something like that. You are not guaranteed that you are going to see that many copies in a store anymore. And if you want it, you best believe you better be pre-ordering that thing like a motherfucker, because if you don't, you might just be shit out of luck. I'm just saying, guys. I really honestly am. And it just really pains me, because at the end of the day, I love physical media. I want everybody who loves the movie to get an opportunity to buy the edition that they want to buy. But with so many factors that's going on, whether it's lack of inventory at these stores, or the fact that scalpers are eating these things up like, I mean, it's like the fucking Pac-Man. I mean, you nowadays either pre-order your shit fast or hope to God that you're one lucky SOB that you're gonna find it in the store. Because honestly, there just ain't no guarantees anymore. And I'm just being real about it, man. I'm just being honest and real about it. And hopefully I would still like to get the Sonic Steelbook at some point. I'd like to. Maybe I might have to go through eBay to get the damn thing. And that's a goddamn shame, but that's where we're at right now. And I don't like it, but I gotta deal with it. A little bit of a rant, but I had to speak the truth to you guys. It's fucking nuts, man. And so it really sucks that, unfortunately, for me, Walmart wasn't carrying the Heat 4K or the Doom 4K. Target wasn't doing that either. And the only place to have possibly gotten it was at Best Buy. And I drove an hour out of my way to try to see if they had it. And I was shit out of luck. And then I had to drive an hour back with Zippo Zilch in my hand. That fucking blows. And then to go on eBay and to see people selling this shit for a huge amount of price, huge stacks of steelbooks, and just flaunting it right in front of you, saying, this is how many I have, and you're gonna pay it if you want it. Man, that just really got me going. And so, man, let me tell you something. I hope I don't see these people in public. I hope I don't see these people in person. Because, man, I am gonna pull a Jay and Silent Bob at the end of their first movie, man. I'm literally gonna go to each of these motherfuckers' houses, man, and I'm gonna be having a baseball bat and just going to town, man. Because, man, that just pisses me off. That these people take advantage of collectors like a motherfucker. And instead of people actually buying the shit, who actually enjoy it, we have to contend with these scalpers now, on top of low inventory, and it just is a nightmare now sometimes as a collector. And you really have to do your due diligence on pre-ordering the shit, or there's just no telling at all if you're even going to get the damn thing. Just saying, man. Just honestly saying. Just throwing it out there. But you know I'm right. You honestly do, man. Look, that being said, man, it was just a gamble this week, and I mean, it's just tough out there, man. It really is tough out there for physical media. You know, moments where you have great media at other places and some places just have jack shit, and there's just no way to help it. You know what I'm saying? It really sucks, dude. It really honestly blows. But that's the name of the game nowadays, man. Nothing is ever guaranteed anymore. Used to be. Not these days. But hey, there's still a lot of great stuff out there, man. A lot of really great indie titles and big name releases, 4K upgrades. Hopefully you picked up something good. If you did, definitely let me know. As far as I'm concerned, well, look. Like I said, I didn't get the Sonic 2 Steelbook. It is something, here's the hoping that eventually I will get at some point, because I really do like the design of that thing. But yes, I still picked up Sonic 2 regardless. The standard Blu-ray edition, but I did pick it up, man. And I do want this in the collection. I do really love this movie. And for me, it's just more of what I loved from the first film. and I really dug it, and I thought it was fantastic. I love Jim Carrey here as Robotnik, even more insane and just nuts and just out there, and I just love what he did, man. I love the extra characters in here. I love Knuckles and Tails, and I just thought that this is a really great adaptation of the Sonic video games into yet another really solid movie, man. I think it's really phenomenal, and I actually just found out that yes, they are doing a Sonic 3. They actually are, man. They are gonna do it. I think it's coming out in like a couple years' time. Dude, I'm excited because if you saw that end credit sequence, you know what's coming, and it's fucking exciting, man. And look, if they're able to do what is an impossible task to do, right? If they are going to do the actual undisputed impossible task of actually doing 3 solid video game adaptation movies, a trilogy, and make it fucking successful and actually really be very devoted to the video games and the characters and still make it fun and entertaining and original, dude, that would be fucking mind-blowing. I am looking forward to a Sonic 3, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this movie isn't perfect. It does have its faults. It's a little too long. At times, it's a little too goofy. Maybe a little too pop culture referential. But that being said, those are minor complaints at best, man. They're minor. This movie is still incredibly fun, and it knows what it is. It knows what it's trying to be, and it's not apologizing for it, and I fucking love that, man. You know, look, there's a lot of bad video game adaptations out there. There is. I named a few in the video, and honestly, this is one of the better ones, man. We're not guaranteed good video game adaptations. We hope that we get good video game adaptations, but there's no guaranteeing that we actually will. And Sonic proves that if the creators actually respect the material, you get good shit. And this happens to be good shit. Just saying, it is well worthy of your time. As even a casual fan of Sonic, this definitely tickled my fancy, and I know it does for you as well. And I definitely need it in the collection. No doubt about it. I absolutely did, guys. That is for damn sure. But, you know, that's not all. Because, yes, I actually am trying to pick up some of the back stuff that I'm still trying to catch up on from time to time. Steelbooks at that. Yes. I actually ordered some stuff from BestBuy.com. I know, crazy, right? They actually had this shit in stock. Yeah. I was surprised too. Indeed I was, man. And this one I was kind of interested in for a little bit. Kind of hemming and hawing about it, but John told me, hey man, you gotta pick this up. It looks cool. You gotta get it. And I'm like, man, I don't have this movie in the collection. I want it. And if I'm gonna get it, yeah, I might as well get a little bit of Steelbook love. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're the Man in Black, Galaxy to Galaxy Defenders. Oh, here we go. Know that you remember. We are the men, oh, here we go. Okay, I'll stop. But look, man, I had to pick up Men in Black, man. Oh, indeed I did. Look at this, man. That is a really cool steelbook. That is really awesome. That's fucking killer, dude. It really is great, man. You know, I was kind of debating it because I was like, I don't know. I don't know about the design of the steelbook, but seeing it in person, it is actually pretty cool, and I'm glad I did get it, man. I really love Men in Black. The first Men in Black. It's really hard to beat this movie, man. They tried with Men in Black 2. Men in Black 3, a little bit better than Men in Black 2, but still not as good as Men in Black 1. And of course, then they tried to do the Men in Black sequel / reboot. And God, that's terrible. That's a fucking nightmare, dude. God. Man, this is one of those concepts that really is sort of like a one and done, right? Once you do it really well, it's almost like you're always trying to chase your tail and you're not able to really do it. And Men in Black was so successful for that moment in time. The combination of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, the special effects, the designs of the creatures, amazing, man. And Will Smith was just like right there on the cusp of being motherfucking Will Smith. You know what I'm saying, man? I mean, he was hot off of Fresh Prince. He was in an Independence Day, then this, and he was just like hitting it out of the fucking park, man, constantly. He was going to become the summer blockbuster guy, at least for a little bit. And Men in Black was one of those movies that really solidified that. It's so fantastic. The humor, the action, the sci-fi elements. I think this movie is just a really great perfect storm of a film that can never really be replicated again. It's just that damn good, dude. It really honestly is. And man, I'm kind of surprised that I've never really owned it in the collection. I've always loved this movie, but it's not one that I've actually ever went out of my way to buy. But man, if there's a perfect time to do it, this is definitely it. You know what I'm saying? For damn sure it is. Oh, so good. It deserves a place in the collection. That is for damn sure. It absolutely does, man. Not half bad. Not half bad at all. Pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed, man. 4K love for Men in Black, never a bad thing. A great classic movie that definitely deserves the love in the collection. That's for damn sure, man. Abso-freaking-lutely. But that's not all, because I got another steelbook. This one I definitely wanted, probably even more than the Men in Black steelbook, to be fair, man. And when I could still order it on bestbuy.com, you bet your ass I got it. Because I certainly wasn't finding it in stores, but when I got it through online, hey, any way I can get it, oh, I will. Man, and good old school Mickey Rourke love. Well, back in the day when he was actually worth a damn, this movie, so glad, got the 4K treatment and Best Buy exclusive steelbook treatment, because just that damn good with Angel Heart. Oh, yes, look at Angel Heart, man. Look at this. Cool, look at that. The slippy and then taking out the slip. Look at that. Nice. Very cool. Dude, this is a great movie. I love the hell out of this flick so much. Oh, I love this, man. When I talk about great moments in film history of actors playing the devil, Robert De Niro in Angel Heart has to be one of the top on the list, man. He is so fucking good in this film, man. Creepy and sinister. So good. Oh, man, it's great, man. I love this movie so much. If you have never seen Angel Heart, what the fuck are you doing with your life, man? You gotta watch Angel Heart. It's so good. And I gotta give Best Buy and Lionsgate a lot of credit. I really honestly do, man. Because they have been putting out some really cool steelbooks. I can't say that I'm buying them all, because not everyone to me is worth a buy. But for the most part, man, I'm loving what I'm seeing with their releases. And the fact that some of these films, are not exactly the most popular movies of all time that are getting these collector's edition releases, these steelbook editions. And it's kind of cool to see, man. I mean, nobody would have thought Angel Heart of all movies would be getting a exclusive steelbook edition. But it really is amazing to see it, and I'm just glad that a movie like this, that is appreciated, but is kind of under the radar, can still get this type of love, man. I'm so happy to see this. It's fucking amazing, man. And I've never owned it in the collection, but I've always appreciated the movie. The fact that I now have a steelbook edition of it, that makes it even sweeter, baby. Oh, indeed it does, man. Oh, so cool. Oh, so effing awesome, man. Oh, back in the day when Mickey Rourke was awesome. Can't say he is nowadays, but, well, there was a time when he was. Angel Heart absolutely proves it. Oh, so good, man. So good. Fantastic. Not half bad for the Steelbook love this week. But there is one more thing, guys. Oh, there is indeed a little bit of package love that I got at my doorstep. And that is none other than a little bit of goodness from Mondo Macabro. Oh, yes! The Mondo Macabro love is back yet again, baby. Oh, my God. Dude, I love ordering from Mondo Macabro. I'm not gonna lie, man. You know, this company... Dude, I always appreciate bizarre titles. Movies that are not the kind that everybody is going to embrace, but they're ones that I'm willing to give a chance to. And Mondo Macabro puts out some really bizarre shit, but it's always fascinating, and I always love supporting this company because they always surprise me in the most greatest way possible, man. They really are one of my favorites, and this movie is a vampire tale, an old school vampire tale that I had never heard of before. But when I saw the trailer and when I saw, you know, what they were doing with this special edition, I was like, oh man, this is the one I want, dude. I love a good vampire tale, especially ones that I've never really heard of, that kind of intrigue me a little bit, that are overseas. This one is very unique and very interesting, and if anybody was going to put this thing out, yeah, it definitely was going to be Mondo Macabro, man. Oh, indeed it is. Dude, I always got to give Mondo Macabro a chance because they're just that damn cool, and they're a company that absolutely deserves my respect in a big bad way. It's just too good not to at least give it a go. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a blind buy, but, with Mondo Macabro, man, I just can't help myself. Oh, I can indeed, man. But you guys, you will not get to find out exactly what I picked up until, oh my God, the August pickups. Man, we're here. This is crazy, man. This year is flying. We're already at August, man, and the August pickups are going to be quite interesting. Maybe it won't be the most plentiful month, all things considered, but man, I'm getting some amazing things from the boutique label love, new releases, surprises, Mondo Macabro goodness. Oh, there's so many really great things in this month. But you guys will have to wait eventually for the August pickups. Down the line, down the road, it will happen at some point. I promise. I will promise indeed it will happen at some point. You just gotta be patient. Patience will pay off, I swear, guys. You guys will not find out exactly, but when you do, be well worth it. Oh, indeed it will, man. But boy, Mondo Macabro love, new release goodness, and some Steelbook love as well. Yeah, I think I was definitely keeping up with the physical media love this week. And before I let you guys go, I gotta talk about this. So, earlier on in the video, I talked about how HBO Max has gotten rid of some of their originals. And Warner Brothers is trying to cut costs, and this is one way that they're doing it. Well, yes, you can cut it by some of the smaller HBO Max originals, but also, hell, even DC ain't immune to this shit. Indeed it isn't, man. So, if you've been keeping up with movie news, and I assume you have, you know that Batgirl got canceled by Warner Brothers. This $90+ million movie just got completely canceled in the blink of an eye, man. Not only that, but some other things as well. And they're blaming it on the idea of just cutting costs, right? We got to get rid of anything and everything, and if it doesn't make sense to us, we got to let it go. But is that exactly the real reason? Deadline seems to think otherwise. What's behind the Batgirl and Scoob discard? David Zaslav's abject rejection of Jason Kilar's HBO Max strategy. Let's dive in, shall we? Let's dive in indeed. Why did Warner Brothers scrap Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Haunt? The cancellation by Warner Brothers of two made-for HBO Max streaming movies came as a shock to the town. There are several threads here, but the move amounts to an emphatic rejection of past Warner Media CEO Jason Kilar's strategy to make original $70 million live-action and animated films directly for the streaming site. The makers of the live-action Batgirl and the animated Scoob learned today that those films were being stopped in their tracks. The timing was particularly awkward for the Batgirl directors Adil El-Arbi and Bilal Farah. Both are in Morocco for El-Arbi's wedding. Boy, what a hell of a wedding present, ain't it? And they expected to return to the cutting room and continue work on the film that stars Leslie Grace, J.K. Simmons, Brendan Fraser, and oh, by the way, Michael Keaton back as good old Batman. There were initial cries that the scrapping of Batgirl carried bad optics because the title role is played by a Latina. But there were reasons for the move. In both cases, the filmmakers were told that it came down to a purchase accounting maneuver available to Warner Brothers Discovery because the company has changed hands and also changed strategy from the previous regime. This opportunity expires in mid-August, says sources, and it allows WBD to not have to carry the losses on its books at a time when the studio is trying to pare down the $3 billion, that's with a B, in debt across its entire divisions. There has been much speculation on why Batgirl was canceled, having to do with it being a bad movie. Sources said that the film tested once, and the result wasn't that bad, considering that the cut had temporary visual effects that tend to temper audience enthusiasm in the scores. Already, the studio is discussing making different deals with the directors and Grace because this was not a reflection on their talent as much as the radical strategy shift. It was a hard decision for all and highly unusual to simply scrap a film that cost 60 to 70 million, made by the hot directors who helmed Black and the Disney Plus series Ms. Marvel under Kevin Feige, as well as the pre-pandemic 426 million grossing hit Bad Boys for Life. Interesting. Much of the decision came down to this. Warner Brothers Discovery boss David Zaslav is rejecting Kilar's strategy to lean heavily into building streaming subscriptions for HBO Max. That was punctuated by his Project Popcorn initiative that put the entire 2021 theatrical slate, including Dune, Godzilla vs. Kong, King Richard, Matrix 4, day and date in theaters and on HBO Max when theater attendance was sparse during the pandemic. Even after he was shown the door, Kilar continued to call the strategy a win. Many did not agree, particularly after Top Gun Maverick waited and grossed north of $1.3 billion. It's a decidedly different world from when Kilar made the move. Wall Street no longer is impressed by subscriber numbers as much as profits, as seen by the precipitous decline of Netflix's stock value. Companies have come around to philosophies espoused by the likes of Sony's Tom Rothman and Universal's Donna Langley that films gain cultural relevance when they debut first in theaters and an appreciable theatrical spend. When they appear on streaming sites 45 days or so later, they are prized because they have cultural relevance. That will be the strategy Apple employs next year with Martin Scorsese directed Killers of the Flower Moon. Back to Batgirl and Scooby-Doo, Batgirl is a gritty entry, not near the budgets of DC theatricals like The Flash and Aquaman 2, and wasn't designed to compete with tentpole theatrical releases, and neither, for that matter, was Scoob. In addition, there were introductions of characters in that film that the studio wanted to save for those DC theatrical titles. Rather than spend vast sums of money pumping up the budgets of each film to compete in theatrical marketplaces, and then spending $80 million in global P&A, the studio felt that scrapping both movies was a bet better choice. When coupled with the purchase accounting maneuver, DC will be preserved as a place that takes big swings, from Aquaman 2 to Flash, Black Adam, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, a sequel to the $1 Billion Joker, and another Wonder Woman pick. Sources don't expect other films to get killed like this because this accounting opportunity expires by the middle of the month. But as all of Warner Brothers Discovery braces for quarterly earnings report and layoffs that are sure to come, no one with a project made specifically for HBO Max or execs there can feel confident at the moment. Of course they can't, because when you're trying to save money, you're cutting everything like a motherfucker. Even DC shit. Oh, indeed they are, man. Good, bad, the ugliest of the ugly. Oh my god, man. This is some complicated shit, bro. Jesus, it is. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Alright? I was very much interested in seeing Batgirl. I really was. There is no trailer out there. There's only imagery. So we really had no idea. But we're now not going to see it all, man. That's completely 100% scrapped out of the way. Just is never going to see the light of day whatsoever at all, man. And it's just a goddamn shame. Now, there is a lot of people that have talked about this ad nauseum. And hell, I'm another one, so add it to the list. But there are some people that say this is a travesty to get rid of this because, by all accounts, rumors, that the movie was 95% done. Other than obviously putting better special effects in and, of course, trimming the movie a little bit more on the cutting room floor, they had a solid cut of this film, and by all means, they were close to getting the damn thing done. Now that's not even going to be a reality. I mean, it costs about $90 million. If you really need to finish the film, let's say it adds another $10 million to that. If you're going to do promotion for the film, since it's going to be on HBO Max, it's probably another $10 million, all things considered. So you're adding an extra $20 million to the $90 million budget, right? And they just decided, let's just do a tax write-off and let's just get this thing out the door, man. Not even being seen. And David Zaslav, the new CEO, in his own way of saying things, ended up basically in sort of a side swipe a little bit. Basically just said, well, the movie's not up to our standards. Basically saying he didn't like the movie or the movie was shit. And a lot of people have believed him and said, oh, well, if he said it was bad, I mean, why put the damn thing out? So you're 100% positive that you believe the CEO of this company when he says that it wasn't good? Really? Okay? I'm somebody that believes that you really have to watch a movie to judge for yourself. Do you know how many movies, and I'm dead serious, whether it's in my collection or your collection, that maybe didn't get the hugest support from the studio, didn't test screen all that well, and years later, 10, 20, 30 years later after the fact, after it's been shit on by critics or poor reception, ends up becoming a fucking classic? There's a lot of movies out there that has happened to. Hell, John Carpenter's The Thing is just one example of it. And you truly believe that this movie was just bad because the CEO tells you it was bad, right? Okay. Now look, I'm not saying that Batgirl was going to be some major revelation, absolute classic in the DC catalog. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying a $90 million movie, if you have to put at least $20 million more into it, I don't see the problem with finishing that off. You've already spent the money anyways. What's another $20 million at that? And on top of that, I mean, the movie doesn't even have any controversy. Like, oh, by the way, Flash. Look, I don't talk about the Flash a lot, especially when it comes to Ezra Miller, okay? That guy is a whack job, alright? And that's the honest to God truth. I mean, whether he's breaking into people's homes to steal liquor, he's punching and beating women, I heard things like a cult, Or on top of that, like, he's holding a woman and her baby at his ranch or some shit. God, it's such a clusterfuck with this dude. With all the controversy that's going on with him, and it doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon, you're okay with keeping that movie on the gravy train, but getting rid of a $90 million flick that has no controversy in it whatsoever. How does that make any sense, man? Well, the movie's $200 million. That, of course, they're going to put it out in movie theaters. But do they really? I mean, think about it. They're touting this tax write-off. They're saying we have this tax write-off that is good until the middle of August. I don't see why you can't do a tax write-off for The Flash. Oh my God, that would be unprecedented, Seth. They would do that? Why not? Well, it's supposed to be the whole reboot of the DC universe. It's supposed to be the crown jewel of reforming the cinematic universe of DC. You can't get rid of that. Why the fuck not? I mean, seriously, man. If there's so much controversy with this movie, if there's so much controversy with Ezra Miller, who is the star of the goddamn film, and you have all these issues, I don't see why you keep it around. If you have a tax write-off that you're just literally signing checks to get rid of shit constantly, that seems to be a pretty big one. Just saying. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I would love to see the Flash movie to see what it is, but I also wanted to see the Batgirl movie. But I guess you always don't get what you want. And so, you know, where one is just 90 million and one is 200 million, what's the bigger tax write-off? You tell me. I mean, look, at the end of the day, what I will say is this. Warner Brothers has no clue of what's going on here, and they have no clue how to handle DC or even any of the properties within the Warner Brothers banner at this point, right? I mean, you think of everything that they've done with DC at this point. The idea that they went out of their way to say, oh, we have a 10-year plan. Well, what's the 10-year plan? Well, we really can't tell you what the 10-year plan is. We have no fucking idea whatsoever. But we know we're going to do what Marvel does. Oh, great. So all you're doing is copying and pasting what the Marvel strategy is. Great. So you're doing all of that stuff without really putting any of the mechanisms in place to make that 10-year plan successful like Marvel did. Right, you're not finding your Kevin Feige because Lord knows Marvel did it by themselves, right? Kevin Feige had no input whatsoever. Right. Yeah, okay, we'll see how that one goes. Can't wait for that, guys. I mean, not only that, but on top of all this, you have Black Adam coming out. Now, Black Adam doesn't look bad. But I've heard rumors of, oh, by the way, we're going to build the DC Cinematic Universe around Black Adam. Now, look, I'm not going to lie, right? The Rock is incredibly popular. But how many people really consider Black Adam a household name? Not many people. Now, they might after the Black Adam movie, but to build the cinematic universe around Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with the Black Adam character, I don't think that's strong enough. On top of that, they have no idea what to do with Superman. They've completely whiffed on that. There's multiple Batmans running around. There's the Pattinson Batman. Affleck is still in play for some reason. Michael Keaton is out and about doing stuff. Well, with Batgirl being canceled, and then on top of that, there were rumors that he was going to be in Aquaman 2, filmed his scenes, and then that got scrapped, and Affleck came in to refilm all of that stuff. So now we don't even know if really Keaton is going to be a factor at all, other than being in The Flash if they keep that thing around. But we're not even sure about that at this point. I mean, you have the sequel to Joker, which I hope is a good idea, but I'm not sure. Obviously, they've ended up agreeing to do Batman 2 with Pattinson, which I think is a good strategy, but it's just an absolute mess, and it's a clusterfuck at this point. And even the Batgirl directors, there was a rumor that they had come to Warner Brothers and they were kind of confused, and they said, well, wait a minute, how is it possible for J.K. Simmons, Commissioner Gordon, to be in the same universe as Michael Keaton's Batman? And Warner Brothers was like, well, we have a plan, just go with it. And I'm like, you have nothing. You have no idea what to do with The Flash with Ezra Miller. There's rumors of Gal Gadot being recast, whether that's true or not. Who knows what's going to happen with Aquaman? Are we keeping the Zack Snyder universe or are we not? I've seen a lot of promotional material recently that brings back a lot of the Zack Snyder imagery, but yet I hear rumors that he's not involved anymore. I just don't understand what's going on here. And I just feel like it's an absolute clusterfuck at every single opportunity. Even the Scoob animated special. I mean, Scooby-Doo is a big property. People love it, kids and adults alike. That would have brought in people to HBO Max to watch that. That now gets fucking buried. I mean, they've canceled the development of Supergirl and various other DC properties, and I just feel like this is an absolute 100% clusterfuck at this point. It really honestly is. There's rumors of Aquaman 2 being moved, its release date, Shazam might be moved, there's all kinds of talk and rumors that are going on, and nobody has a handle on this thing whatsoever. Nobody does, man. And so, at the end of the day, this is a mess. This is an absolute mess, man. And, you know, whether you agreed with the strategy from HBO Max about, you know, putting the day and date on those sites, you have to end up agreeing the fact that it actually paid off. At a time when the pandemic was huge and the idea that people were staying home, instead of just letting those movies linger, they decided to actually do a strategy around it to actually gain some monetary supplement from it, and it paid off. Now, I'm not saying that it should continue 110%, but for certain titles, I don't see the problem with that. But just instantly getting rid of it and not even continuing that strategy, I understand that you make a $90 million to $100 million movie, and, you know, putting it on HBO Max is not exactly the most monetary gain you're ever going to get. In some cases, it doesn't really give you much of a gain at all. So why not put it in movie theaters as well, along with being on HBO Max? Take advantage of it on two fronts. But the article says that, well, because it was a $90 to $100 million movie, well, it's not good enough to be in a theatrical experience. Seriously? So every movie now has to be a $200, $300 million movie for it to be accepted on the big screen? When did this fucking happen, man? So you can't put a little mid-budget superhero flick out there to the masses anymore? Wow, man. God damn, times have changed like a motherfucker. I mean, shit, they really have, dude. I mean, look. To me, canceling Batgirl was a grave mistake. It just doesn't look good. And it started down a bad road for Warner Brothers that is continuing to this day. Because they have no idea what they're fucking doing at all. And this is just a prime example of it. Getting rid of a $90+ million movie that was close to being finished, and you didn't even give it a chance. At all. And that really sucks, man. Yet you're keeping a Flash movie that has so much controversy added onto it with the Ezra Miller situation, and you're okay with that. I mean, where's the balance? Where's the fucking balance, guys? There is no balance. And this is the ultimate problem, man. This is the absolute ultimate problem with Warner Brothers that I just feel like they have to fix. And it's not just the DC stuff, but the DC stuff is a huge part of it. The idea that they're just scrapping projects willy-nilly, they're canceling things when it's almost practically done and out the door, and yet they're keeping projects that are controversial. They're talking out of their ass about a 10-year plan that they have no idea about. No one's in charge of the goddamn thing. Walter Hamada, who was supposedly in charge of the DC stuff, he's getting fired. So there's nobody to replace him at this point. You know, apparently we're creating a whole cinematic universe around Black Adam. I don't know how many people are excited about that. I mean, there is no key strategy whatsoever. Now, you know, you can blame Marvel for a lot of things. Trust me, it's easy to do it at times. But Kevin Feige had a plan, right? Everything was slowly building to getting to the Avengers, getting to that moment where the cinematic team up. There was some hiccups along the way, but they got there, and they got there rather successfully. There is no plan. Zack Snyder had a plan. Whether you liked it or not, you had to admit there was a plan to it. And now, with him being gone, there's no one there to actually oversee the ruins that are happening at this point. I mean, it's basically like a towering inferno. Like a building being crushed, and in the rubble you might find some cool stuff in between there, but for the most part, man, to rebuild is going to cost so much extra money, and at this point, why invest in it when there's no actual strategy to invest in? I mean, I understand that David Zaslav entered into an absolute mess of a company, right? With so much billions of dollars of debt, an absolutely clusterfuck of ideas, and, you know, certain movies being put on HBO Max and other movies being theatrical and the day and date stuff, and trying to figure that all out is an absolute fucking nightmare, man. But I don't think they've actually helped themselves at all. I just don't think they have. And going forward, I don't think that they really have any sort of course to take at this point. I just don't think so. And so, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm looking forward to Black Adam. I'm looking forward to Shazam! Fury of the Gods, but what else is there? What are we doing with Batman? What are we doing with Wonder Woman? What are we doing with Superman? Your fucking crown jewel. Where's Henry Cavill? There was supposed to be a whole thing with Henry Cavill potentially coming back. That's now not even a thing at this point. And at every single turn, you have these properties that you're doing nothing with, and the ones that you are, you're not even really doing anything worth a damn that really makes it special or interesting. Look, you might not have liked the Zack Snyder strategy, but it was a strategy. There's nothing here. And Batgirl is just one small step in a syndrome that's continuing. It's just a real damn shame that we're never going to get to see that movie. You know, at the end of the day, movies deserve to be seen. These directors who did a phenomenal job on Ms. Marvel and made a really great, fantastic hit in Bad Boys for Life, you know, at the end of the day, you have to trust your talent. You have to trust them. You're the ones that hired them. You're the ones that put them in place to make this successful. And to just scrap it like this is a real great death blow. And it really shows that you have no confidence in anything. You'll just get rid of stuff willy-nilly for the sake of getting rid of stuff because you have to make an excuse for getting more money. You have to make an excuse for doing a tax write-off. Oh, well, guys, you didn't want to see that movie. It was bad. It wasn't that good. I mean, the test screenings were just okay, but trust me, it wasn't that great. And everybody is agreeing, well, he says it's not good. He's saying that because he needs an excuse for you to believe that this deserved to have a tax write-off. You don't know until you see a movie. Look at Prey. Look at Prey on Hulu. When that came out, everybody and their mother, including me, was like, wait a minute, this movie is really fucking amazing. Why didn't it get a theatrical release? Oh my god, it's fantastic. I mean, I would rather people say that than it would have just been canceled and, well, what if? Oh man, well, it could have been good, it could have been bad. Well, I guess we'll never know because it's a tax write-off. At the end of the day, it's a disgrace to everybody involved in that project. And all the time and the effort that they put into this movie is just gone. And if I'm the directors, if I'm the star, man, I would fight to get this thing released, man. I would fight to get it released like a motherfucker, because what's the harm of putting it out at the end of the day? What's the harm of doing it, man? I mean, really, I don't get it. And it just feels to me that executives at Warner Brothers are literally in front of a dartboard and they're like, back row cancellation. DC Universe revolving around Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Moving release dates. And like, and they just are like, whatever random thing they hit is basically what they're announcing. And this is bad. It's a bad look. It's amateur hour from top to bottom is what it is, man. And I just don't see any competent way out of this thing. Now, look, I will be 110% eating my words if 5 to 10 years from now, we're all saying, oh my God, the brilliant strategy by Warner Brothers and DC, and they've reshaped the whole universe, and it's amazing, and it's a really cinematic marvel. Boy, I will eat crow big time. But I don't think that's gonna happen, guys. I really honestly don't. And I know that it's not just the DC stuff, but it's the majority of it. To me, this is a really tough sell. And at the end of the day, is anybody gonna entirely miss Batgirl? No, but it goes to a bigger issue. That if you're willing to just scrap a movie that is already 90 million in with just a little bit more monetary supplement to getting it done, the movie has no controversy whatsoever to it. It's Batgirl, which obviously connects with Batman, has the nostalgia factor with Michael Keaton in it, has a lot of things going for it, directors that are really hot right now, and a star that is on the rise. I don't see why getting rid of that makes any sense. But yet you'll keep a movie that has so much controversy with its star that it could drown your film. You're making up imaginary 10-year plans that literally has no significance whatsoever, building cinematic universes around a character that's not even proven to actually work or be successful. Let alone the fact that you won't even do anything with Superman right now. I mean, I'm able to give companies and certain projects some leeway. And I'm willing to do it because I understand that, there is complications and things come up and happen all the time. But, that leash only stretches so far, man. And DC's has a very, very short leash because I've been so burned by all this stuff. And I just don't see how they get out of this mess. I mean, yes, they still have the James Gunn stuff. They have Peacemaker, and they have some stuff that he's doing, but let's be real, man. The Suicide Squad, even though I really loved it, didn't make a lot of money. In fact, it flopped at the box office big time. And Peacemaker is really popular, but again, if you're not really investing in HBO Max as much as you have before, where does James Gunn coexist in that? If you are all about the monetary appreciation, if you're all about the do-re-mi, and if they're not bringing in that type of money that you want, I don't think they're keeping it around. I'm just being honest, man. This guy, David Zaslav, he doesn't care about the creativity of these projects. He cares about the money. And if you're not delivering, why are you sticking around? There's the door. And so, look, guys, say what you will about Marvel, and there's a lot to say, truth, but, not only do they deliver in the monetary, but they're also creative as well. And you can do both. But unfortunately, you need to have a vision behind it. And Warner Brothers just doesn't have it at this point. They just honestly don't. And the cancellation of Batgirl is proof positive of it. I'm curious as to what you guys think of this, man. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I want to have faith in DC. I want to have faith in Warner Brothers. But seeing them canceling this literally makes zero sense. I mean, I was hanging out with Van recently, and we were talking about, the cancellation of Supergirl and the cancellation of Batgirl, and, how they're basically getting rid of this project and that project and this thing over here, and who knows what's happening with this property over there. And we're like, you want to know what superhero can save the DC universe? We were thinking about this. We were thinking really hard, man, and we're like, God, what is the one superhero that could really come together and save the DC cinematic universe? And we're like, we got it. We know it. It's Gumby, damn it. We're like, man, make a Gumby movie with Eddie Murphy. Man, come on, man. I mean, shit. If you're keeping fucking Ezra Miller around, man, just fucking Norbit somebody's ass, will ya? Like, come on, man, just do something. Shit. I mean, goddamn, man. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke, man. This company is turning into a joke. DC is turning into a joke. And getting rid of Batgirl is just another piece of a very disappointing puzzle. Where does it end? Your guess is as good as mine, man. Definitely let me know, but I'm sure there's more controversy ahead with Warner Brothers and David Zaslav. I can just feel it. And I can't wait to talk about it. But that'll be until next time. Definitely let me know what you think about this, guys. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Blu-ray and DVD out and about videos, movie reviews with my friends, movie hunting like Dollar Tree hunts, Blu-ray pickup videos, live streams, and so much more. All the older content and newer content that is coming to your eyes soon enough. Oh, yes, it will be. Patience will pay off eventually, trust me. I hope you guys enjoy the channel, all the content out there. If you do, definitely hit subscribe and become a part of the Film Fan Nation. I want to thank my really great subscribers out there. You guys are awesome and amazing. You support me. You watch all the videos. You really are, understanding about things that go on with me personally, and wait for what I put out, and I really do appreciate it, man. You show me the love, and hopefully I show the love right back to you. Thank you so much for all the support. It really warms my heart in a big, bad way, man. Also, keep updated with everything I'm doing through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. FilmFan108. Keep updated with everything I'm doing, plus special pictures and videos I do from time to time on social media as well. And if you want to send the channel any movie-related love, you can. Movie posters, physical media, care packages, you name it, you can do it. The P.O. Box is in the description below. It is not expected, but it's definitely appreciated. And you guys have went out of your way to send me some banging stuff. I mean, some really fantastic movies on physical stuff that I never thought I'd get in a million years. You guys have delivered, and I can't wait to see where the P.O. Box Adventures take me next. So,
If you are interested, hey, P.O. Box in the link below. But I suppose that is it for the out and about goodness. It was good at first and then kind of trailed off, but hey, that's physical media for you, baby. But hey, we could luck out next week. You never quite know. The gamble, well, it always pays off one way or another because the physical media house always wins. That's for damn sure, baby, and I know you definitely agree. So I will see you back next week for a brand new Blu-ray and DVD out and about video. Take care, everybody, and remember, happy hunting.